What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pass the Barb. You are currently listening to the #1 outdoor podcast in the world. I'm Ryan Pancala. We have a awesome show going on tonight. The house is full. Bart and Sobi are here with me tonight, and we got some awesome guests. Multiple guest evening dropping here. This is going to be a good one, boys. I'm pumped for it. God dang it. We're on time. We're on the ball tonight, boys.
We've been really shitty podcast hosts lately, so we're bringing them 2 guests.
Yeah,
not one podcast in August. We owe it to you, and tonight's a big one.
I don't know if you're at work, on a long car drive, or anywhere in between. Shoot the veins full of nothing but audio. We've got not only big special guests, but breaking news. We've got topics coming to us. We're not even generating topics. We've got fat topics we need to cover.
We had a different agenda, and a lot of stuff changed quickly.
Yeah, it's going to be really good.
Boys are buzzing, to say the least here. Mm-hmm. But I think it's going to be a great show tonight. I don't know. We potentially have a guest joining us fairly soon. Is that kind of what I'm hearing here?
Yeah, he just texted me.
Okay.
Sick.
Okay.
He's such a dumbass. I texted him. I was like, "You have the link," and he goes, "What should I do?" I'm like, "Join."
I would click it. I would click that.
I would click it.
I feel like
someone that operates right podcast.
You think said I would click the link.
Maybe we weren't.
What do I do with this?
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, well, just to fill this up real quick ad read, actually. Sobi, I don't know if this pertains to LTAB, but if it does, you can piggyback on.
Okay.
Chronicles right now, we're running a Labor Day sale that runs until Friday. So there's limited size and quantities on some stuff. But if you're wanting to order anything for the winter, head over to the website. It'll be up till Friday. And yeah, you can get a massive discount on some hats or sweatshirts or whatever. Just making room for inventory for this winter.
Absolutely. And they're really quality gear too. Like Adam and the Crappie Chronicles and myself, we do our printing at the same exact place. It's all local here in Minnesota. Same for LTAB, and we're running a Labor Day sale as well. Like we've got awesome sun shirts, hats, t-shirts, and there's also like these mid-range like light hoodies, which are really good for like the spring and fall. They're like almost like a thicker version of a sun shirt. They're really, really nice. Either way, a lot of good discounts. So check out Crappie Chronicles merch, check out LTAB, and freaking buy it up because it's priced really well.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah. All right, enough with the ads. God, I hate companies like that always reaching out to us, paying us money and shit.
That's how we get breaking guests like this. All right, coming in hot off press release in professional fishing, and probably the most talked about thing. We got Pink put up a poll for we'll do PTB fan questions later. This one was like every 3 answers was like, what do you think of this? Yeah. So we brought in an expert to help us digest this and what we think about it. There he is.
Let me introduce him.
Okay, just wait. We'll boot him out.
Boot him out. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we've got a guest tonight. A face for radio and a golf swing for memes. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Matthew Pangrac.
Okay, now he's back.
The floor is yours to complain.
Wow, and I was going to congratulate you on the hell of a year you're having on the Champions Tour this year, Sobi. Then you do me dirty like that.
I did him dirty.
I think the 15 ouncers for the rest of the year. I hope it's just 15-ouncer pipe.
Luckily, they're done, but that couldn't be his next year.
You made the championship, didn't you?
Yes.
Dude, he was in second at one point, and we'll talk more about it later, but he was in second at probably like 9:30 in the morning, and I got in the boat with him to film an update, and like he was vibrating, and the only time in my life I've ever seen Sam Sobi unable to speak a word was when he was like, holy shit, I might win a boat.
Not bad for a YouTuber.
That's what I'm saying, dude. That's what I'm saying. I was like, I'm going to win. Adam gets in the boat, stop catching bass. And I'm like, it's not my fault.
You're like two good days away from your own Crush City shapes.
That's what I'm saying.
So close. All right. But anyways, we brought in Panger. For those of you who know him, he hosts, or don't know him, he hosts Bass Talk Live, which is the biggest, it's the biggest media source, publication, whatever you want to say it is, for bass fishing. And I know you had a quick show earlier today with some guys quickly talking about it immediately after the fact. I'm sure you've had more discussions. And also, I listened to the show. It was fantastic. You did a very good job of letting the anglers say their piece. We're here to let you say your piece. So what do you think? And first of all, tell all the people what are the rules? What came out for forward-facing sonar?
Yeah, so obviously that's been a hot topic for a number of years. You had, I feel like it kind of snuck up. It didn't sneak up. If you're paying attention, it didn't sneak up. But I feel like the organizations let it kind of sneak up on them. And then they had, the year of everything, which is where you saw Schmidt with like 7 15-inch graphs on his boat. And you saw the transducers on either side of, you had guys running 5 transducers, all sorts of stuff. So then they curtailed it back to the one with the 55 inches of screen and all that. And Bass created a competition committee, and you saw MLF go to the 1 period of scope and the every other day and the invitationals, and the NPFL make their move and go no live scope. And it talked about it like ad nauseum, right? I mean, there's guys on both sides of the fence on this, but there was, the competition committee, when they came out with this in last year, they said, hey, this is, we've had James Hall on from Bassmaster. We've talked to people who are on the competition committee, and they said, this is a fluid situation. We're going to review it after every year. But they always kept making the point, like in it, like the leader, like Bass has always been the leader, like what they do, the rest of it goes, whether it's from the top level all the way down to the bottom level. So it's like, from an angler perspective, it's a pretty big responsibility because, their 5 fish, all the local tournaments and all that, it's kind of what Bass does goes. So it was kind of quiet this year. They had the competition committee. They did angler votes. It was, kind of a mystery exactly what that was. You had people that come out and said they banned to split. They banned to do it. They didn't know how much the technology companies were going to play into that as far as sponsorship. There were rumors that Garmin's shelling out 7 figures to guys, to the organization to keep it. And then, it was kind of quiet. Season's over. We're kind of waiting on the open schedule. And then they come out today. And is there a silence button on this thing? This is what it's been like all day.
There is a silence button. Yeah.
Comes out today, and they basically said, hey, we're splitting the season next year in 2026. So 4 tournaments with, 4 tournaments without, and then we'll coin flip the final event on the St. Lawrence River on whether or not it'll be scoped. So it'll be either 5-4 without, or whatever the opposite of that is. And I think it kind of caught a lot of guys off guard that was coming out right now. You kind of looked at that schedule that came out. You saw the Arkansas River on it. You saw the Tom Bigby Waterway. You saw some other venue that Santee Cooper in South Carolina. You looked at how the events were won this past year, especially how it went down on kind of in your neck of the woods there in La Crosse. That had a 50% winner as far as primary forward-facing sonar. You had a topwater buzzbait win. You had frog wins. You had some flipping wins. It seemed to kind of be regulating itself. So when that schedule came out and you didn't hear it, a lot of guys that I was talking to, me included, guys on the Elite Series, were thinking, hey, I think they're just going to stick with this one transducer. So then they dropped this press release here and totally upset the apple cart and kind of threw their hat in the ring as another organization that's going to split it, and then, for lack of all intents and purposes, just keep the discussion going instead of putting their foot down and making a firm stance one way or the other.
Yeah, I think that's very summarized very well. So, Sobi, Pink, you guys heard it. Do you guys have any initial thoughts, or we can have Matt give his thoughts as well? But I have my own. But
well, I guess on my end as like a viewer, right? Like, obviously, for people that are competing in it, I feel like they probably have their own decisions for various reasons. But like, I think splitting it that way and having seen like how the discussion has gone, it's almost like now it's almost like this year. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's people on both sides of it, but I think it, although it's going to be annoying, it could give credit to like some of these anglers that people have just been shitting on that this is their only technique, that when they come in and still win or do really, really good, that there's going to be able to silence some people that I think have been talking a lot, about like how people are fishing, how they're successful, that type of thing. So although it's like, yeah, what Panger said, where it's kind of like they didn't make a decision by making this call, which is like, I don't know, kind of half-assed in a way, but it could be an interesting dynamic to watch. Is what I'm saying.
Bart,
yeah. What about you, Sob?
No, you go for it.
So I think I'm going to kind of line with Panger on this, but I'm not going to put words in his mouth. I don't like it. I mean, like, so here's the thing. It's going to be entertaining, and I think it's fine. And we saw what happened with the invitational stuff. With the invitationals, with Bang Shaw and Bang Shaw dominated everything. He had like the most ridiculous season anybody's ever seen, and he's a young dude. He just spends a ton of time on the water. You saw it with the BPT. I thought it was pretty entertaining in the BPT, and I think it works with that format too. I think it'll work fine here, but kind of like what you guys said, ultimately all they did, in my opinion, was push off making the decision. They give more gas to people who want to have conversation and be trolls and just ignite something that doesn't need to be. And they could have just been like, this is the stance, move on. And then there's 3 leagues that have 3 different rules. And it's kind of, my belief is like, you as an organization should stand there and also be like, hey, the whole base doesn't need to be your clientele. You can look at them and be like, you don't fit here. That's fine. You can go fish the MPFL. You want to go flip jigs at trees all day? Do it. That's totally cool. No problem. So that's kind of my only thing is like, I feel like by making this decision, they didn't really make a decision. And when you look at what happened with all the events this year, dude, it kind of just played out. But it was entertaining. And there's like, I thought it was cool. And you saw guys.
Some level that drama though would be like that they're still feeding off of that a little bit, because like,
is it like bass and stuff?
Yeah. That like by not making a decision, it keeps the conversation going. It keeps people on both sides of the fence. It just keeps.
I would be highly likely to believe that Chase Anderson and the people at Bass would rather not have to come into the office every day and talk about forward-facing sonar one way or the other.
I would believe that as well. But yeah, I mean, just dude, the way this season played out and everything, like they've proved you can schedule around it by going to different venues, doing different things, different times a year. And I thought we saw some awesome tournaments this year, man. Hell, even Panger, the Open you just fished on Leech, was an awesome tournament that could have been dominated by forward-facing sonar. But guess what? There were 5-footers on day 2, and nobody went on day 1. So Laker Howell won with a frog. Like, there's different aspects to tournament fishing, and I just don't like so here's the thing for me. I don't mind it in terms of watching it at all and everything. I just don't like the, like, business side of it, just prolonging it and, like, rolling it around that way. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Panger, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, and first off, I just want to like preface this just in case any listeners don't exactly know who Matt is. Matt is not only an extremely decorated tournament angler, but he's a decorated bass fishing industry media guru. And I'm not just coming back after I said your golf swing was for memes. No, Matt has been around the block back, around the block back, and around the block again, not only personally, but with so many of other people in this industry. And he sees a lot of different ways, and he talks to folks on every side of this fence. So I want to know just your pure thoughts, Matt, what you think about this. You are the guest. I want to know how you feel. Initial thoughts, and now that you've digested it, thoughts.
So my initial thoughts are confusion. And in order to like kind of make it make sense, I think you have to go with statements, with fact, with the past to kind of see if you can make sense of the decision. And this is like neutral. Like, I understand there's like valid feelings. This is a feelings issue, which is why it has generated so much interest. I mean, it's literally changing how people are partaking, consuming, participating in their passion on the water, off the water, consuming it, their financial status based on if they want to compete, whether they have it or not. But if you go back and look at facts, so, you know, in my opinion, all this really kind of blew up with the Patrick Walters setting the record and the biggest margin victory at the time on the Elite Series on Lake Fork, using the forward facing sonar and the jerk bait on the stumps on that. And that's when people kind of went, whoa, you know, Jason Christie won before in 2018-19, I believe on Lake St. Clair, didn't really talk about it. Scott Martin won on Cumberland, didn't really talk about it. Clark Wendlitz won on it, didn't really talk about it. McClellan's had it since 2017-18. He's really the first guy who won an Open on it on Table Rock, didn't really talk about it. But when it blew up, the big year was 2024. That was, like, to put a NASCAR term, like, have at it, boys. That's where they said, we don't know what to do. We're going to do something about it. Go do whatever you want. That's what I talked about at the beginning.
And Panger, I would say it blew up in 2024 on the tournament side. Like, in terms of the viewership, I would say too, like with the tournaments it did there, I vividly remember it really blowing up. Like when we had Ben on and talked to him about the first OHIV videos in 2020.
Right. I'm just talking about the tournament stuff.
But that, yeah, I'm just saying that's when people then went, oh, holy shit, they float everywhere.
So the 2023 Opens were the year that you had the quote scopers. That was JT Tompkins. That was Trey McKinney. That was Ben Milliken. That was Kyle Patrick. That was that whole group. And then they came in and they dominated 2024. I want to run you through. You kind of have to know a little bit of history to get to where I'm having a tough time putting the pieces of the puzzle together here. So the 2024 Elite Series schedule was Toledo Bend and Lake Fork in February. Then it went to the Harris Chain, St. Johns River. Then Lake Murray, Wheeler Lake, Smith Lake, Lake Champlain, and the St. Lawrence River. Perhaps one of the most scope-friendly schedules in history, where we saw the jig and minnow, we saw the drop shot, we saw the jig and pie, we saw all of that play out, and it was the, oh my gosh, what is this? So that was when the competition committee, which had to have been mainly angler driven by those who did not have a grasp on the technology. And for the first time in 30 years, you had a group of, I'm saying air quotes, relatively unknowns that came in and kicked everyone's ass. It happened. The stats are there to prove it. Guys who made 20, 30 classics in a row were in the 50s or 60s. Guys who top 10 were now in the 20s or 30s. And you had these guys that came through the Opens, dominated it, went to the Elite Series and dominated it. This is where things get interesting, because in December of 2024, Bassmaster announced expanded coverage for the Elite Series season. And it says, quote, in their press release, the new expanded schedule is the result of a 2024 season of record viewingship and increased interest in Bassmaster Live programming, including a massive 300% increase in hours of coverage on the flagship Fox channel, setting the stage for a monumental surge in viewership in 2025. Bass expects the new agreement to deliver more than 20 million viewers in 2025, which will be the biggest television audience in the history of the sport. That was 2 months following no restrictions on live scope, a bunch of guys that no one had heard of making classics and winning tournaments, and the heaviest scope schedule in history. So I find it interesting that then they restrict it. And now in their latest press release, they're saying they're listening to a mixture of the anglers and the fans and the audience participation. Like, how in a year do you go from the biggest to, hey, now we have to do something with it to maintain the integrity and the fairness and the quality and all of that for the sport? That's where I just struggle to connect the dots.
Yeah, well, I think that makes sense. I don't. Yeah, I think that lines up with my confusion of just like, I don't get it. I thought everything was growing and getting good, and yeah.
It says the decision follows a two years of careful evaluation. The 2025 is a diverse set of fisheries to naturally limit FFS dominance, and the winners for nearly half of the season's events relied primarily on traditional tactics. That in that statement solidifies why keeping the technology in the sport full time as the leader in the industry just makes sense. And that's in their press release that they just came out with today. Then it said, however, live sonar still influence outcomes across the board. Well, let me get this right. The ability to water temp probably influenced it too. Water clarity probably influenced it a little bit. Side imaging influenced it. Lure design influenced it.
My ability to know I can run to the back of that creek because there's a channel there and I can see
1
it on
foot
my map.
Contour shaded relief mapping probably influenced it. It was one of the factors that influenced it. The ability, and the thing about this sport is the ability to take all of those factors that influence every cast of every day of competition and turn it into a winning formula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so now, Sobi, you've gotten time to buy time. What do you think?
No. I still like, no. Straight up, like, but I feel like I didn't get Matt's full feelings on it. You brought up a lot of good things, which justifies your confusion and different stuff, but how exactly do you feel on the exact ruling?
Personally, I've always said, like, you can't put it like Pandora's box is opened. And what I think, I think MLF can get away with it, and it works for them because from their beginning, they've been around since 2019. Yeah, they're FLW, but the way they do it, they have different period formats. They have different weigh-in structures. They have the ability to do that. They have a smaller field. They've changed
for
everything.
Their format.
It works 100%.
Yeah,
for their format, but it's out of Pandora's box. That was an oversight by the companies not to have. It was a lack of foresight, not to see what potentially was having down, not to have people in that organization whose job is to say, hey, what is coming down the pipe? What are some issues we might have to deal with so we can nip it in the bud so we can be one step ahead of this? We're about to see what actually happens when they try to close Pandora's box. Like, this is to me, this is a kind of an attempt to close Pandora's box after it's already been opened. I don't really know what's going to happen. I've always just said my key is I want a fair and level playing field with the same number of rules that I know exactly what, as a tournament angler, that I'm signing up for, and that during the off season, I can try to perfect my craft and get better at it. I know a number of guys in the opens that I talked to today feel like we've spent all this time on something that was a dead end, or is potentially to a point of a dead end, where instead of getting better at other techniques, we focus so much on this one technique based on the standard that Bassmaster had set. And now we're going down a different path. Not angry, not hateful at them. I know they have an extremely difficult decision that they have to make. They have a lot of people on both sides of the fence to deal with it. But what is frustrating to me is the lack of consistency, which I think I demonstrated with the schedule and the press releases and what they've come out with in the past as to kind of what they're saying now.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Panger. And like, so when you say this, putting it back in Pandora's box, or trying to close Pandora's box, right? Like, think of it this way. I'm curious your thoughts on this. And once again, for everybody, this is our opinions, and there's some other channels that will state things that are opinions and make it seem like fact, which is not true. These are our opinions. And so like Panger, for example, when they go to Gunnersville, and if it gets coin flipped or whatever, that at Gunnersville they cannot use forward-facing sonar, and they are beating the bank and flipping shallow grass, and everybody watching that tournament knows that there's 25 to 30 pound bags swimming around out in the middle that they can't target. Can you, like, do you think that people are going to like watching that? I know we don't know, but like, you get what I mean? The hypothetical, like, situations that get laid out there. Like, I want to see 30 pounds. I want to see 120 pounds on Gunnersville.
I think there's a lot of people that say they don't watch that still watch. I think it's trendy to say I don't watch. I think it's trendy to say I turned it off. Bass fishermen are bass fishermen. They freaking watch. I just watched 6 hours of a bank carp tournament in Europe that took place in 1998. Like, it's fishing. I watch it. I think it's easy to say, oh, I don't watch it. I turn that stuff off. They're the people that probably had it on for 7 hours.
Yeah.
The numbers show that 2024 was so good when everybody was staring down with the biggest screens, the NBT 24s, the 16-inch Garmins, the transducers off the bow and the stern, a transducer on a turning turret, and 2 transducers on the trolling motor shaft. And there were such record numbers that they inked the biggest deal in the history of bass fishing with Fox. What changed in 11 months? In a year that was less scope this year. So if the numbers are down, it's not because of the scope. It's because Pat Schlopper won on a buzzbait and flipping and a frog and a stickworm.
And unfortunately, the population of Wisconsin just isn't that big. They were all watching it. They couldn't inflate the numbers anymore.
I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit here. Yeah. And then, and like I said, I would not want to be in Chase's position in this. It's when the Anderson family took over or purchased Bass, that was right before the split. So they had it before the split. Cool. So they came in with the longest standing elite series that at the time had been 14, 15 years running. They had all the top anglers in the world. FLW was going through a transition. The NPFL didn't exist. I mean, Bass was the show. They buy it, start taking it over, and boom, they lose 80% of their talent. Like, just right off the hopper. And they rebuilt it. They did a really good job. I mean, it was dicey there for a while of building Bass, of maintaining that brand name, the recognition, the specialty of Bass, and building it into what it is.
Well, they built some monsters.
Right. And then this develops 2 years after that, which 23, 24, and now 25 has been, I mean, he's dealt with, and that organization has dealt with some of the 2 biggest seismic changes in the 60-year history of the sport in the span of 7 years. So yeah, there's going to be some bumps on the road. Yeah, you're not going to be able to make everybody happy. But I'd love to see take a stance. We are the leader. This is what we were built on. Like in this press release here, he said, Bassmaster competition has a long history of being the proving ground for new technology that enhances the sport. Period. That's one of the lines in it. And now it seems like this move isn't a proving ground for new technology or enhancing the sport. This move seems to be a managing, a curtailing, or a move to try to satisfy certain groups.
I do think it's interesting though, because obviously I'm assuming a lot of the people you're talking to are anglers that are fishing the opens or other like larger events, right?
Mm-hmm. Opens and Elite Series guys.
Right. So, for people, like, there's a lot of viewers of this that are just recreational anglers, right? Mm-hmm. And I think the general consensus among a lot of those people is that they are interested, like, if they don't already have this, they're interested in this technology, right?
I see very few boats these days at any fishing tournaments that don't have a forward-facing deucer.
No, I'm not talking about tournaments at all. I'm just saying
general fishing.
Yeah, I've seen more guys at the boat ramp who say, "Hey, I've got this. I want to learn how to use it. I'm not sure what to do with it."
Right. Or they want to get it and they don't have it. So it's like it's crazy to me that it seems like the general buzz in the whole like industry outside of tournaments is that people are like, "This is awesome." Like Bart, you talk about the walleye side.
Yeah, like we talked about this with Lidner with the walleyes and like the ice fishing world. Like, there's not any of this discussion. It doesn't exist.
Not really. No. And it's like everyone uses it. So it would make sense that like potential viewer ratings are there because of that. And people are like, I want to see that. Like, that's something I have interest in. Oh, all these guys are doing it. That's sweet. I want to see like the best guys using it.
I also want to say a couple other things. So Bass deserves some applause here because there had been rumors spread throughout the industry by people that major electronics companies were in their pocket. that decisions were being made strictly on a monetary basis and not on what they really thought was best or not on what the anglers wanted. Basically, they were being bought off. I think that pervasive thought pattern for the last 2 years that's completely out the window. Because if that was the case, Bass had a very easy out road of just saying, we're going to keep it status quo for the 2026 season. So that gives me a lot of confidence in the organization that they're trying to listen. So there's also a line in here. It says, this new rule is exactly what the majority of the ABP, the panel, voted for. It creates amazing opportunities for blah, 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 and then the rest of that. But they did put in there that is what the majority of the ABP voted for. It also brings up some interesting discussions when you look at the future of the sport. With the reality of it is there's a career arc in this, right? There's a career arc in everything. How much are you sacrificing the guys that have built their careers, that are coming up, that are fishing high school, that are fishing college right now, that are about to fish the EQs, that are 2-3 years on to the Elite Series now, that have the young families that have established their careers, not because they can live scope, but because it is a tool that they have built into their thousands of days on the water every day. So are you keeping at this time, a small majority of the anglers who want what is best for their career, for their families, for their time on the water that they've spent, which is no forward-facing sonar, but are going to be transitioning out of the sport, either voluntarily retiring or because it doesn't make financial sense or they don't qualify anymore, to where does that flip happen? Like if it's 60-40 now and we're losing 8 guys who voted on that and were anti-scope before, and you're bringing on 8 new guys who are at now, all of a sudden it's 60-40 the other way. You're losing 8 and you're gaining 8 the other way. So are you making decisions to keep guys around for a couple years, but you're harming what is going to be your core base for the next 10 to 20 years?
Yeah.
Just thought process on that. There's a lot of comparisons. To me, it would be like, Golden State drafts Steph Curry out of Davidson, and the year he gets to the NBA, they take away the 3-point line. Like he can still play, he can still pass, he can still shoot, but that was a critical part of his game. He's no longer Steph Curry then. He's still a very talented player who's an NBA caliber player, but maybe he works on the mid-range jumper instead of stepping back and taking threes for his high school and his college career. And he's a totally different player, even though he's still very talented. Yeah. That to me is kind of like what happened here. Like you're taking away an integral part of the game that isn't what they were using to get one up. It was part of their game and always has been part of their game.
It's a good comparison.
Yeah. I would agree. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, ultimately, it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be interesting to watch. I just could see I could see all of a sudden it happening for a year and then them being like, oh, just kidding, we're going back.
Mm-hmm. And like I had Lee Livesey on the show today. I talked to Bill Lowen today. I've had discussions with Justin Lucas, with Jordan Lee. I mean, they're guys like Jordan Lee, Justin Lucas. They're guys who are in their prime, who can do it either way. They've kind of changed my opinion a little bit on it because they do see it. And not to put words in my mouth, you see what Jordan Lee posted on the some of the posts there, but like they don't like the free for all aspect of it. I have to respect their opinions. They've been there, they've done that, they've won the championships, they've been around, they've got the sponsorships. There's validity to what they're saying. There's validity to what Livesey and Hackney and Ike, there's validity to that too. But if you're going to take that for validity, you have to take what the younger generations, the Eastons and Emils and JTs and Treys, what they're saying too, with just as much credence as the veterans. They're all at the same playing level right now. And the other guys earned it just as much the past 2 years as they earned it 30 years ago when KVD and Edwin and Skeet and Aaron broke into their league.
For sure. Yeah. Totally.
Bottom line is, in your opinion, this is just kicking the can down the road because ultimately they're still going to have to make a decision one way or the other eventually.
I thought it would be interesting. So as much as I hate comment sections, I did that show today and I had 5 or 6 of the guys on, just let them speak about it. Didn't give any opinions or whatever. Just try kind of what I do on BTL. It is more vitriol in my comment section.
Yeah.
Both for and against it. It didn't, to me, it literally was like,
no, they just pissed everyone off.
Hunting the hornet's nest.
That's one thing I wanted to say too, and I've been kind of quiet, and I've been digesting. Like, I want to digest what Matt said and what Bart and what Ryan, and that's one thing I've noticed too, because this has only hit my radar, like 5 hours ago, and the comment sections are wild. Just like public outrage for either side is really wild, and like there's a part of me that just goes like, oh, I don't know. Fishing in 2025 is wild, and we're still in a growing sport. We don't have 150 years like baseball or something, but like it's really wild. It's just wild. I'm still digesting everything and just taking it all in. But I bet your comment section was unbelievable.
Like, I've got comments right next to each other that says, BS, ban it completely, trying to keep the cheater box users from quitting. And the comment right below it is, maybe next year they'll make all the guys fish without hooks because it's getting way too easy. So like, how do you?
We've successfully made both sides mad now.
Yeah, how do you make sense of that? Like, it's not an easy task for the rules people at Bass, for Chase who owns it, for the committees, for the anglers, because when it comes down to it, what you're really going to do, the people who are making the decision, the people who are voting on it, you're going to vote with what makes the most sense for you. And there's a very few amount of guys who are superstars in this sport before and after. That Polinick, Lucas, I'll throw Wheeler, DC, Jordan Lee, like that whole group is kind of like that. Like when I was in college and Apple came out with the iPhone in that time period, like there were guys who I knew didn't have iPhones. Like I was one of them for 5 or 6 years, and then you finally do it. Now you can't. And then there are guys who are the early adopters who are like, look at this here. It's called an iPod.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, it's real easy to get fired up on it, but just like I'm sure the big FFS guys I know are there calling, can you believe this BS? And then the guys who don't want it on their boat are calling it going, can you believe this BS?
Yeah.
Wow.
And you have to look at it. They both have valid points.
Yeah. I would agree. I think that's good. I think we touched on it well.
Yeah.
It's not over.
One more thing.
Yeah. I think Panger, you got it. Wait, I want you to touch on the quote you texted me, because I think that's very noteworthy to end on.
Where I said, don't tell me what to do when you told me to join the live stream?
No, okay, sorry. It was just right before that.
Yeah, that one.
Shouldn't Pink be making a casserole?
No. The last one I hearted. I forgot there were that many texts of you getting on.
Negativity only exists within the realm in which you allow it to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's important, because I'm sure we got a bunch of PTB questions, and there's questions from people everywhere.
It's Christmas for me when this comes out. I mean, I make my living on a show called Bass Talk Live, where we talk about what happens in the industry. It's very niche. Everyone's in the tournaments. They understand what's going on. We take a day off with Frank to talk tips and techniques once a week. But for me, I mean, the best thing that ever happened to BTL was a split. That's when it absolutely blew up. And the more and more of these things, I mean, people want to hear opinions. They want knowledge. They want idea. And some guys watch it to get fired up. Some guys watch it to learn. Some guys watch it to strengthen their own, opinions in an echo chamber. It just depends. But I mean, if you're into content, thank you, Bass. Gave us a lot of content. We're going to have scope shows, no scope shows, what could have been, what should have been, what will be, what's going to happen down the road. That's 2 months of shows right there. Fired up guests that are pissed that, the whole thing.
Absolutely. Well, yeah. Perfect.
Thank you to BTL.
What's that? Did you kill all that stuff behind you, Pink?
Yeah.
That is so much shooting.
that is so much shooting.
It wasn't like a one time.
Do you ever miss?
Oh yeah. Yeah. This wasn't like a herd, you know? Like
That's good. That's good. All right, Panger, we got to let you go. We got another important guest, so we got to hop on and make use of their time as well. But we appreciate you and your insight on this. And yeah.
All right. Thanks, fellas.
Later.
Perfect. Are the Sooners how are they gonna do this year? Where are they gonna end up?
I'm gonna wait until after game day invades Norman, Oklahoma, Palace on the Prairie, the house that Bud built, historic Owen Field and Gaylord Memorial Stadium, home of the 47-game winning streak and 7 Heisman Trophy winners. Only in the second year of the SEC after a strong rebuild with a new offensive coordinator and Heisman prospect John Mateer at the helm, taking on Blue Blood Michigan 2 years after their national championship, freshly off of some NCAA sanctions.
He's got a teleprompter. Kick him out. Kick him out. Kick him out.
To see how this season shakes out.
Perfect. All right. We will see how it shakes out. See you, Panger.
Later.
Thank you, Panger.
All right. That was beautiful.
Yeah,
Gives a little bit of insight on everything. I think very well stated of, there's positives and negatives. It's kind of kicking the can down the road, and it's just kind of confusing.
And this is breaking news, like the boys and I said, this hit our radar 5 hours ago. And there's going to be a lot more discussion around it. Please comment below what you think. Send in any questions you have or different things you want touched on, and definitely follow BTL. Like Matt and Bass Talk Live, like they do an incredible job at doing a bunch of deep dives, not only on, Matt's opinion, but like so many different folks across the industry that play different parts in the industry, like their thoughts on it and just how it's going to affect it next year in 2K26 or down the road in 20 years. It's going to be really interesting. And I think my opinion is just like, it's going to be interesting to watch, and we'll see, like Matt said, I don't think these decisions are made lightly, and it would be really tough to be sitting there to be the one making that decision one way or the other. It's not easy. It's not an easy deal, but it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, totally agree. All right, now for our next guest. How are we introducing this?
Ryan, you got this.
All right, let's bring him in. This is, speaking of controversial people. Holy
and comebacks.
The ghost of the West. The Caddis Cowboy. The one and only long forgotten member of this podcast, Captain Bill, joining us from God knows where in the world. There he is.
Yeah!
People have been asking questions. We've been telling the truth about it. And God damn, it's good to have you here.
It's good to be back, boys.
Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Bill.
What was your official last pod, Bill? Do you know? Do you remember?
No, I
do
don't. It was probably before the summer started, I would think.
I think it was in the winter.
Yeah, could have been.
It was before you
it might have been 2024.
Well, yeah, I guess it was probably before I went to. Was it before I went to Argentina or? Yeah,
well, it was right around the same time. You guys both went out of country at the same time. Like I feel like you went to Argentina, and that was right when Cody went to South Africa, and you guys split, kind of split the continent. Things got mixed.
Things got mixed up.
Split the globe.
It's just good to be back stateside. So.
Incredible.
My deployment's over.
It's so freaking good to see you. This is like, if any of you have ever been to a wedding, a class reunion, a rogue bar in a dark alley, and you just come across a familiar face, and you just see these memories, and all these memories just come washing out with just one glimpse. That's what it feels like having Wild Bill on here.
It's like when you go to a bar that you shouldn't be at, and then you see someone you think you recognize them from across the bar, and you're like, wait a second, I think I know that guy.
Wait a second.
Wait a second.
It hits you. Oh,
it's good to be back, boys. Yeah, it was never a goodbye. It was a see you later, right? Is that what
I think we played it off really good.
Yeah. Well, I've been, I'm still around. It's not like I died.
I want some baseline.
Some people
facts.
believe you died. How's Monk?
Good. Monk is good.
He's alive.
Yeah, Monk's alive. Monk's alive and well. Yeah, most importantly, Monk's fine. So
Did you ever ride Monk?
God, no.
God, no. still working up to it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever. My healthcare isn't good enough to ride Monk. So
All right. We gotta. I know you got limited time here tonight. Hot date and all coming to the barn, but I do think we got to dive into a little bit about what in the hell you've been up to, dude.
I've been having a nice and busy summer. Guiding in Montana, and then I was in Alaska for about a month. I just got back a week and a half ago, and just been back in Craig now, working here, and not guiding a ton yet. It gets busy starting tomorrow, I guess. But guiding here and there. I've actually been doing a lot of walleye fishing, if you guys can believe that. So that's that's been kind of fun. It's fun to do different stuff, So me and my buddies, we got one of my buddies, Cam, has this little John boat, and he's got the FFS on it, the cheater box. So we've been scoping them up. It's been a lot of fun, actually.
No way, you actually had fun doing it?
Yeah, it's been awesome.
I don't think that's right.
I've been told actually that is not how that goes.
Live bait or no live bait?
Oh yeah, drop shot and a crawler.
Almost as good as a jig and a crawler.
Yeah. No, they eat the drop shot better. I don't know why. I fished the jig and the crawler too, but it's been a really busy summer here, and fishing's been pretty good at most of my locations. So it's been good. Alaska was good. Nice to be back home now, though. A month up there is all I need. So yeah, nice to be back for sure.
Give us one story from Alaska, one takeaway story, and then maybe talk about a little Argentina love if the flame ever caught more fire.
Sure. Well, I'll touch on Alaska first. Let's see, a good Alaska story. We had a bear that was coming into camp, really causing a lot of problems in camp. So that was kind of
When you say causing a lot of problems, like what is that?
It
ripped open the garbage, or like it tried to eat someone?
Well, I didn't try to eat anyone, but yeah, just coming in and first he got into this big it wasn't garbage, but it was they have a burn barrel there, right? That they burn a lot of stuff in. And so then all the stuff that doesn't burn, so cans and that kind of thing, they palletize and they wrap it, and then the barge takes it away, essentially recycling. And he ripped apart one of those pallets first, and then he just kept coming back every night at 10:30, 11. You could see him. He would walk into camp, and then he found the burn barrel, which is this big steel, a big burn barrel. It's big, and he'd just take it and he'd just flip it upside down. The thing weighs 500 pounds, and he'd take it and just flip it upside down, and then he'd just start digging through the soot, trying to get food. And so he did that for about a week straight. And it was towards the end. There's not much you can do about a bear like that. You can't just kill it because it's getting into your garbage.
Why do you think the interest level was so high there with a river just piss loaded with fish? He's flipping over a half burned, food trough.
I think he's just lazy or bored. I don't know. But that was kind of a highlight. Truly, the biggest highlight for me about the whole Alaska thing was all my travel went smoothly. Usually there's something that happens and it's a nightmare, weather-wise. But all of that went really good. And our fishing was fine. I wouldn't say it was exceptional like it normally is, but it was fine. So
was it an absolute bonk fest?
Some days. Some days not so much. Yeah. It was a little scratchy out there.
Touch and go at times.
Yeah, it was kind of oof, this is not gonna be good. Usually there you can sort of tell how your day is gonna go within the first 20 or 30 minutes. Not always, but generally speaking. And so there were days where I was it's gonna be really good, and there were days where it was oh, this is gonna be a lot of work. But all in all, that lodge is so nice. That sort of makes up for even tougher fishing, you know, because you have a nice lodge to go back to and good food and good people.
Are you seasoned and old enough now where you tell some clients, like, you know, back when I used to row this river, we used to bonk so much, you know, before,
you know, I actually did. This was the first year that I kind of felt like an old guy a little bit, because there's some younger kids working there now. I used to always be the young guy, you know. I mean, I was always.
I know you got to buy booze for the whole crew.
I was always the young guy, and it's funny, you know. You guys probably feel like this too, but it just all of a sudden one day you wake up and it changes, and you're not the young guy anymore. You know, you're not the old guy, but you're kind of in the middle. And so yeah, it was funny. I remember last year telling some of those younger guys, like, because man, our fishing last year was just like ridiculously good. I've never seen fishing that good anywhere. And I remember telling some of those younger guys, I was like, you know, like, I've been here for a while and it's not always like this. Like, sometimes, you know, you got to work for them. And then sure enough, this year that was kind of the case. And so then I was kind of the old guy, you know, wagging my finger saying, well, I told you, you know, I told you it's not always, you know, limited out in an hour. But yeah, it's funny how that changes, you know. Like, this was the first year that I really, it kind of dawned on me a little bit. I'm like, gosh, I'm not 22 anymore, you know. I'm approaching my 30s, and I don't know, time goes by fast, you know. So
what about love? Did you find love in Alaska, or has there been any communication with Senorita?
Is there a woman in Alaska?
Where I go, not really. No, you're certainly not going to find love there. If you do, I don't know where you find it. Not in Dillingham, Alaska, I can tell you that. No, not much in terms of love here either. Yeah, I'm just sort of excited to get back down to Argentina. That's, you know, that's kind of where it's at in terms of women. So
it's like after a couple of Topo Chicos, Monk's looking pretty good over there.
Oh man, yeah, you're not kidding. I've seen a few females this summer, so that's good. But yeah, you know, you come out of Alaska and we call it you have bush eyes, which is like, you know, you don't see a girl, you know, your age, or at least a good looking one, for a month straight. Now those other boys, they're there for like 3 months, so their bush eyes are a lot bigger than mine. But man, you get to the Anchorage airport and all of a sudden things start looking pretty good, you know. And then
you land in Billings and you're like, oh my God, or Bozeman, wherever. You're like,
well, I landed in Helena. So yeah, had I have landed in Bozeman, certainly. Not to rag on Helena, but yeah, it's funny, you know, there's like, Alaska has a whole different rating system, you know, like an Alaska 8, or, you know, it just depends where you're at in the world, you know.
I'm sure it's year to year. Like, some years are better fishing than others, and it's, you know.
Right, you know, it all depends on how the run is, you know.
Now, I will say we did recently have another Montana guest on here that did make it seem a hell of a lot easier to convert in your neck of the woods.
Well, I don't think he lives in Craig, Montana. So certainly if you live in Billings, it's the biggest city in the entire state, so your odds are a little better. Craig has a year-round population of 35, so do the math.
Met all 35?
I'm sure I've seen him.
He's definitely swiped him, let me tell you.
Yeah, that doesn't take long. One. Okay. Yeah. All right. Done. But no, it's good to be back in Montana, I guess.
Love it.
Stick with the walleyes, you know. Hey.
Yeah. Hey, you know, the walleye bite's been pretty dang good, actually. So it's been pleasantly surprising. So,
oh my God.
It's nice to.
Stolski might be starting up a walleye guide business out in Montana soon.
Wouldn't be the craziest idea, you know. They're nice eaters, the ones we've been getting, you know, like 16 to 18 inches. Perfect.
Have you been harvesting?
Oh yeah. Been just whacking them.
Bill's on a little different program than Owen. He's like 16 to 17 inchers, and Owen's like 16 to 17 pounders.
Yeah, I don't know how to catch those ones. I'm content with catching my 16 inchers on my drop shot. So, but it's kind of funny. I got all these, well, from back in the day, Bart, all these Dobbins rods. I mean, I got like so many of them back when we used to have all, get all those good deals, and so it's been nice to kind of use them.
Like, were they really dusty?
Yeah.
You have to like clean the handles off.
Make some cracking noises on the first hook set. Like,
got some of the what are the blue ones?
Champions.
A couple of those, and some Sierras, and a couple Furies. Got a few Colts too. It's been it's been fun. I think you guys can attest to this too. And I found, when you fish for one thing or do one thing for so long, months on end, it's nice to do something totally different once in a while. It's nice to switch it up. So, but I'm back to the trout for the next 2 months. So, but hopefully I can get out while I fish a little bit more on a few days off. So
you would be happy to hear from your last time being on as well. From the little we have heard from Hunter, he's a fully converted stream trout fisherman now.
He's into it. He sends me Snapchats once in a while.
You probably hear from him more than we do because you guys are trout brothers.
I haven't heard from him in a while now. It's been a couple of months, but
that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense.
I think he's in some sort of hellish factory, some hellscape, putting up conduits. So
you can put it that way.
Man, he sent me some videos from a few of those places he works at. I mean, it literally looks like hell on earth, and the noise, the sounds. I don't know if he's working at like glass crushing factories or what, but it's so loud, dude. Oh, I'm not envious of that at all. So,
how was the time down in Patagonia this year?
It was good. It was really.
Was that April?
I left middle of February and then was back second week of April. So, it was. We had a really great red stag season down there. We shot some really big ones, and lots of animals around. Good fishing. The only thing that was kind of a bust was, I went down and did that king salmon fishing again. I did that my first year down there, and it was pretty good the first year we did it. It wasn't like you caught a lot of fish, but you had shots every day, and this year was really tough. We fished for 4 days and only hooked one fish in 4 days, and I ended up losing it after fighting it for like 20 minutes. But so that was kind of a bummer, but the rest of it was good. The trout fishing is really good, and stag hunting's awesome, and food's good, and all that stuff. So it was fun. So looking forward to going back.
Have you gotten any new drinks or any new food that you're like, this has been really mixed into my routine?
New drinks. Well, my drink of the summer has just been sort of the standard, Topo Chico tequila and lime, ranch water. Trying to think of anything. I've been drinking anything new. Not really. I wish. You guys got any new drinks I should try? Anything you've been drinking that's good? What you been drinking?
I'm basically on your path, so we're on the same level.
Local, because the problem with Alaska is when I go up there, I gain about 10 or 15 pounds because you eat very good food, the same food as the clients, but it's rich. It's a lot.
Yeah, you're eating a lot of potatoes and
a lot of bread, and
the amount of imported butter would probably shock you.
Yeah, lots of butter. Good food, but man, I got back and I looked in the mirror. I was like, Jesus, looking at pictures, I'm like, oh my God, my face is so fat. So
I've been 10 bush lights the night before.
I've been trying to get myself back in hunting shape a little bit, doing a little hiking around.
Kind of ranch water and walleyes diet.
See, and that's healthy. I've actually been frying. I've been frying my fish in the air fryer, so I feel like that's kind of a better.
You are a hipster now.
More healthy. You ever done it before? It's good. How does that make me a hipster? Have you done it, Ryan, in the air fryer? I think it's good.
I don't own one. My girlfriend is a air fryer connoisseur though, so I've been dabbling.
they're pretty. I think it's certainly not as good as frying it in oil, but it's close.
It's good, and it's quick and dirty, dude.
job
It's
done.
quick. It's quick, and it's like such little cleanup. And even shout out our good buddy Hayes Baldwin, the infamous Ludlow's Mix up at Ludlow's Island in beautiful Lake Vermilion, where Hayes does some guiding. That's where they cook the majority of their fish, is in the air fryer for the clients, and they love it.
It's good. I think it's
I guess I got to get with the times,
It's tasty. Now nothing can beat the the crackle and snap of dropping a nice fillet into the hot oil.
Oof.
But that's like ASMR, but the air fryer works. And like you said, Sam, it's nice because there's very little cleanup, which I certainly enjoy as well. So but enjoying whacking the walleyes and catching a few trout and all that stuff. So in hunting season, quickly approaching.
Give us a little preview. What tags you got in your pocket, or you and your brother, or what's the game plan here?
Yeah, me and young Joseph. He'll hunt a heck of a lot more than I will in the next month. I'm too busy working, but the archery season opens this weekend, and so that's open for 5 weeks. So opening weekend this weekend, I'll not be hunting because I have to work. But come October, I've got a rifle antelope tag, so I'll hunt that. That'll probably be the first hunting that I do. Unfortunately, I might, if I can tag along with Joe a little bit. He's actually been shooting his bow, so I have not been really at all. I wouldn't even bring a bow, but I'll try to go elk hunt with him maybe a couple days, and then antelope hunt, and then rifle season opens towards the end of October, and that's really the time I get to hunt is during the rifle season. So all through November, got a couple trips planned, everything in Montana, but elk and deer hunting in November. So just hoping I can shoot a cow elk would be great, and then shoot a decent mule deer buck, and hopefully get an antelope, and then call it a season.
How did I don't think I really talked to you after, but I know you guys took on a meat making excursion of your own this year.
We did.
God damn it, I didn't hear how it turned out.
And Ryan was very helpful and all that. Yeah, Joe and I for the first time. I've always grinded my burger in the past, but that's pretty easy. But this year we did the whole thing. We got a sausage stuffer, and we did brats, we did sticks, and we did summer sausage. And our summer sausage turned out really good. Our brats turned out good. Our sticks were just okay. I mean, certainly edible and all that, but just I don't think we dried them out enough. They were a little on the moist side, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I feel that.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was sort of a fun endeavor. Boy, it was a lot of work. I didn't quite realize it's a lot of work. You need a long weekend for that,
Did you do like a lot of how many pounds did you do, you figure?
We did 20 pounds of summer sausage. We did 15 pounds of sticks and another 15 pounds of brats. 15 to 20 of brats.
Hell yeah.
So it was a good amount. And then burger, and then we did another, I don't know, probably 30 pounds worth of burger, maybe more, 45 pounds of burger.
Yeah.
But we had a nice bountiful season. Joe killed a elk, and we both got deer, and he got an antelope. So we had a lot of trim to work with, which was nice. So yeah, that was fun. Looking forward to doing that again. It's a fun deal. It's work, but you do save some money for sure. I mean, the price
no doubt.
Now, you guys,
no doubt.
I mean, my gosh, to go get any specialty thing done, sausage and stuff, man, it's expensive. Even just getting burger done is expensive. So, yeah,
but
boy, I'm looking forward to the fall for sure. I bet you guys are too. The best time of year.
Absolutely.
I mean, hunting, of course, but the fishing across the board, no matter where you are, man, fall fishing is the best. So I'm jonesing for that sort of late September into October fishing period here, because it's going to be. It's good fishing, and this year, man, there's some big fish around, so they're just going to be bigger in a month's time. So,
what are you targeting? Is it like browns in the fall, or what's your
browns and rainbows? You know, and but everything's just bigger. Eating a lot, getting ready for the winter. So, and it's fun. You catch a lot of fish in really shallow water, and so I'm excited. If anybody wants to come fishing, got a few days open. Give me a call.
How long is your season then, Bill? Like, do you roll until like November, or what do you do? And then are you done over the winter, or kind of what's the plan for you?
I generally work here through October. If the weather holds, then I'll get a few days in November, fishing wise too. Last year I guided a trip. I was looking at my calendar a couple days ago, and I guided a trip on November 25th last year, which that was pretty late. But one of those deals that some guy was just in town and wanted to fish. But through October generally, and then last couple of years I've been going to Idaho for a couple months and doing the steelhead thing, but I'm not planning on doing that this year. I don't really want to do it anymore because it's a miserable hellscape, and I'm just over it.
You gave a lot of glowing endorsements on this podcast of your Idaho steelhead.
Yeah, it's just not my favorite. I love fishing for steelhead for fun. I don't really like working for steelhead or guiding for steelhead per se. So I'm just not going to do it. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do in December and January, but I'll do something.
Bill's going to be your next local guide on Red Lake.
I won't be doing that either. No thanks. I'll go home and fish around Christmas time. I'll ice fish then. But yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm always excited about the next thing, and for me, the most exciting thing is what's next. And
you always randomly pull something out of your ass too. So like all of a sudden we're gonna get a text. Yeah. He's gonna be like, "Yo, I'm in Egypt," and you're like, "What?"
Yeah. I mean,
low darting rattlesnakes.
I just listened to a podcast with Larry Dahlberg on there, and he was talking about fishing in Egypt actually for I think for Nile perch. I think no, that would be in Africa.
No, he did it.
No,
Egypt
video.
is in
I've seen
Africa,
the video.
believe it or not. Yeah.
Yeah, they're fishing a giant. Yeah. Oh yeah, that is. Oh, thank you, Bart. You're right. Yeah, they're fishing some giant like reservoir tailwater of the Nile, I think. So, who knows? I'm excited about it for sure. So it'll be nice. I'm gonna do something. What it is, I'm not entirely sure yet, but I'll have a few months of sort of get to do whatever fits. I don't want to say whatever I want. I'll have to do something, but it'll be exciting. And then Argentina in February. So
and then he's back in Argentina, just living the life.
And it'll be good to be back down there and then get to come back here and do it all over again. So yeah, it's not so
Can't
bad.
wait to bring that woman home from Argentina.
Yeah, you're gonna get her. You're gonna
one of these years.
Get her stateside.
Yeah, one of these years for sure. One of these years. They're looking for a green card, but I don't. Actually, Argentina now. It's not a for sure deal, but I think I think it is pretty close to being. It used to be for Argentines to come to the U.S., they had to get a visa, and it was sort of a challenging thing. But now Trump and Milei, the Argentine president, they're kind of the same sort of guys, and I think Argentines can come to the U.S. now without a visa, so that would be good.
Yeah,
Seems like things are going your way all of a sudden here.
Yeah, I felt it's about time, the pendulum swings. So, but no, I've had a good summer. It's been good. It's been busy. How have you guys been? What's been going on? What's the word? What have we been fishing for? Bass, muskies? What's the story?
Oh, it's been all of it, dude.
All of it, multi-species.
The boys almost won AOI in Tourney Tuesday.
Nice. Who almost won?
Well, you can explain that.
Kind of.
Don't you guys all fish against each other?
Yeah. Normally, but like because of scheduling and stuff, Tourney Tuesday, it's a very long and extensive season on Tuesday nights. So we were like, we don't know if we can all swing it every week. So Ryan and I are like, let's just, partner up. And even though we probably won't end up fishing with each other, if I'm there, I can fish with Brock or Steph. And if Ryan's there, I can fish with Connor or whoever, so we kind of split the schedule. So the dream team actually came together. It was almost team PTB, and we got second in AOI. So it was good.
We almost closed the deal.
I say anytime you can finish, top 3 in standings in a weeknight league like that, I mean, that's a success. One year, Hayes and I won the Thursday night bass league, and it was probably still the highlight of my entire bass fishing career. So, I mean, that's no easy task.
No, consistency.
That's right. Consistency
But
is
there's still a championship to be won.
Yeah.
Oh,
You guys
wins
still
the
haven't even fished a championship yet.
wins the TOC.
The TOC is September 13th on an undisclosed body of water.
When do they tell you? When do they tell you when it is, or where it is? Rather, sorry.
At the last tournament, you know, we drew names out of a hat, and a lake name got picked, and it was, you know, it's more toward the metro. It's not a lake.
I mean, we know where it is. He's just being cute about it. You know,
so it's a metro area lake,
a gem, really.
a gem. Oh, so it could be a bit of a slugfest.
I don't know. I haven't been there in a decade, dude. Last time I was there, Brock and I were fishing a high school tournament, and Rello was our captain. Because
buddy, I was your captain.
No, dude, I think Rello was.
It was me, I remember.
No, it was a tag team. We practiced with Rello, and then Bart was our captain. Yes.
I see. Which boat were you running then, Bart?
It was Sobi's boat.
Oh,
he needed me. He just needed me to drive it because I was over 18.
You had to be El Capitan.
Yeah.
Was it your tracker? I think it was the tracker. It wasn't even the Red Rocket.
No, it was the tracker. So that's how many moons it's been since we've approached this body of water.
Many
and I think that was the general consensus at the body of water selection committee moment, was that
we were like, what?
Everyone said, "Wow, I heard that place used to be good."
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
sure. Well, no one's been. No one knows.
No,
and you know, that's exciting. I hope it's anybody can win a slugfest, you know, a real grind them out kind of derby. Now that separates the men from the boys.
That's what I'm saying.
It really does.
Grinder, you know, fishing's too easy now. Everyone just goes out there and whacks them. We need a real grinder, you know.
I hope it's a little stingy.
A little scratchy out there, you know, sort of like AK 2025.
But I will say, keeping with the theme of the whole season, we've elected not to fish together for the last tournament because we really hate to break the tradition that we've started.
No, we were going to fish and we were going to end this season out Ryan and I come together.
You're not going to fish together?
Take the ship. Ryan's actually got an elk trip, on the date that
Oh my God.
So do you just fish it then, Sam, or do you got a partner?
Yeah, because you can't get a sub for. I was going to say you probably can't get a sub for the championship.
Yeah, it's the TO. I mean, it's the TOC.
However, I really hope that you guys pull this off because the championship pot is enormous based on how many sub fees we paid this year. Yeah. So we should really.
What is the pot? What do you think?
It's got to be close to a G. I think, which is pretty good for a Tuesday night. $500. I'm pretty sure it's probably knocking on the door of a G.
One band.
Yeah, and
one band. No, that's exciting stuff. I wish that there was some sort of, weeknight derby thing here. I mean, man, that'd be fun. I miss fishing those things. That was always a highlight. I enjoyed that. Me and Hazer.
Maybe you need to start trout tournaments. How quickly do you think everybody would hate you?
Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, there is competitive trout
with live weigh-ins.
Yeah, with live weigh-ins.
Hey,
just throw them in the bucket. They'll be good, dude.
Yeah. Oh, they're fine. God, they're so fragile.
It would be terrible.
Oh my gosh, they're such dainty little creatures. They're just like, man, a bass. You can just throw it on the floor of your boat and let it flop around for like 3 minutes, and they're fine. Trout, oh, not so much.
You look at it wrong, and it starts profusely bleeding down the side of it, and you're like, "What'd I do?"
Oh my gosh!
Why didn't you wet your hands?
We got this really big one last week, right when I got back, my first trip back, and it was my biggest fish of the year. And it was a big fish, and we fight it, we land it, and gosh, I had to revive the thing for 3 to 5 minutes probably, and in my head, I was like, if this was a bass, of similar size, I'm like, you just put it in the water, just, gone. And this trout, I'm like, come on, just live,
Just
my little my little business partners. I need them to live. So yeah, they're not a tough fish by any means. So
What's the competitive trout space like? Like, is that actually a community, a pretty decently big community?
it's very big in Europe. Competitive trout fishing. They have like world fly fishing championships, and usually they're in Europe, but it's not for me. They basically just like, it's a lot of what they call Euro nymphing or tight line nymphing. So you're fishing like two flies, or sometimes you fish one fly, but heavy nymph flies, and then a lot of times you have a sinking line, and so you're just sort of like, they're fishing small water like creeks and pocket water, and so they're just like, the European guys are really good at it. They usually win, but it's just tight line nymphing. So you're just like taking it, drifting it, taking it, drifting it. Like, they're not casting very far. They're just like working little runs and riffles, and there are guys that are way into that. Not, like I said, not my thing, but it's certainly not as big as like competitive bass fishing or walleye fishing, So they do have, on the competitive trout front, the one thing they do that they have, which I think is very cool, is called it's in Jackson, Wyoming. It's called the One Fly Tournament.
Cool.
And it's a big deal. So it's I think it's a 2-day event, but basically you have to choose one fly at the beginning of the day, and you can only fish that one fly the whole time. And if you break it off or get hung up a tree and lose it, then you're done. So you basically pick your fly and you fish that all day. And I think that's a cool format. And so you have to, I don't know how they're doing it now, but I think it's like your 5 best trout, and it's an inches based thing, but you have to like decide, like, you can't cull per se, right? So you've got to like on the fly kind of decide, like, okay, should I enter this one or not? But I think that's a cool way of doing it, where you just pick one fly and you got to fish that the whole time.
Yeah, I like that.
You could do that. That would be a cool way to do a bass tournament too.
Well, even like Spro does the frog only tournament.
Yeah,
you can tie on whatever frogs you want.
Right.
So I think that's cool.
Man, it'd be so hard to do a tournament like that in Minnesota, because if you get bit off by a pike, you're done. It's over. It's over.
I did see a competition that made me think of you the other day. And have you heard of that? Like the GoPro mountain games, they do it in Colorado every year.
No, I haven't. What's that?
So it's like a whole bunch of different, like, I don't know, outdoor sporting events that they do all in one like big thing. So it's like whitewater rafting, rock climbing, like all this different stuff, right? But they have one that's sponsored by Yeti. It's called Yeti Catch Wars. Okay. And it's like head-to-head drift boat fishing.
Sure.
Like, I think they have like everyone is on the same river at the same time, and it sounds like an absolute gong show. But it looks like something I think you could dominate at, and I'm really thinking that you should probably get signed up for this.
That sounds cool. I would love to fish that Jackson One Fly tournament. The problem is I would just get my teeth kicked in, because I fished there in Jackson one time. But that would be cool if they did something like that here. It would be fun. But yeah, there's not a lot of competitive tournaments or that kind of thing in the fly fishing for trout space. Now, in like the tarpon world, they have a ton of fly fishing tournaments. Especially in the Keys, like out of Isla Mirada and stuff, like the Golden Fly and the Gold Cup and all kinds of them. And that would be cool. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts about tarpon fishing and watching a lot of YouTube videos about tarpon fishing. And I'm like, gosh, it's just so cool. These fish are so big. Like, trout fishing is cool and awesome, but man, it would be pretty cool to hook a fish that's, taller than you are.
Just kind of like you said, it's the thing you're not doing. Like, Bill, these guys know, but like my thing I got into on YouTube in the last 6 to 8 months is I watch like all wild fly videos right now.
Yeah. It's
I love Scotty's stuff. And it's all like just this, it's all, a lot of it I think is filmed, well, all around the world, but he does a lot out in your neck of the woods, I think.
Oh, for sure. All over the West
out there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is funny. Like you were saying, Adam, it's like whatever thing you're doing at that very moment, at least for me, I enjoy it. Like, I like it a lot. I'm passionate about it, but I'm always sort of looking at other stuff, or what's next, or that kind of thing. And I don't know, there's just so much to do, so many fish to catch. It's
I really want
to
to do a PTB episode one day, Bill, where we have like me, Pink, and Sobi come out with you and be like, all right, teach us to fly fish.
I think you guys would love it. It's a lot of fun.
I think it would also be remarkably hilarious.
It certainly would be. We need about 3 days, because the first day is going to be a lot of me yelling.
And we can't eat. We can't eat unless we catch what we eat, and you can't catch us any food.
No,
So
but we can go up to the lake and keep some of those.
First, ask questions later.
So during this walleye thing we've been doing, the lake we've been fishing are just lakes above the dam here, and they have stocked trout in them. But my gosh, we kept a couple of those trout. You cut them, they look like salmon. They look so good, amazing. Like, we're gonna smoke a bunch of them, and we'll see how they taste. But I was amazed.
They were feeding them the good red pellets.
Yeah, no, there's a bunch of those like, I don't know, some sort of freshwater shrimp in those lakes, micey shrimp, I think. And man, they look tremendous. So we could definitely do a catch and cook. We go up to the lake and bonk a few. So
do something fun like that.
Yeah, no doubt. So
Bill, you got any hot takes you want to get off your chest that have just been brewing for a long time?
I'm trying to think. Actually, there's been a few things that have been.
I think I got something to say.
Yeah. What do you got to say? Let the people know. They want to hear it.
Been a few things that have been pissing me off lately.
Yeah.
Well, I did see, and I know you guys already talked about it. I don't have any input on this whole thing, but the forward facing sonar. My only qualm with bass, the whole like deciding it with a coin flip, isn't that how they're going to decide what lake? That's what I read.
That's the last one.
No, I think
they do it every time.
Yeah.
I'd like to throw our hat in the ring to be the people that host the coin flip.
At minimum, it has to be 4.
Yeah,
like, what I mean?
Right. I think at the first derb they're going to coin flip it, and
no, they're doing it on September 4th. They're doing it all on Thursday. So
it is.
Yeah,
but I thought it was they picked 4, and one of them was a coin flip.
Yeah,
for the 5th one.
The St. Lawrence is going to be a coin flip. The last one will be a coin flip. Okay. The way I understand it, this could also be.
This is where the confusion comes in.
Once again, what Pangrac said, confusion.
Yeah, it's a confusing ordeal. No, I have obviously no dog in that fight or horse in that race, but I do think it's
trout. How much would stream trout fishermen hate forward-facing sonar if you could actually use it in streams?
I honestly don't think we've talked about it, like especially because we're doing this scoping thing for the walleye so much, and I don't think it would really make a difference at all. Sure, like you could put it out there and you could see a bunch of trout swimming around, but the Missouri River, for instance, where I guide, I mean, there's 4,000 trout per mile. So there are fish everywhere, right? So the fish are there. It's not like a matter of the spots matter, where you fish matters, but like your drift and your fly selection and all that matters a lot more, if that makes sense.
But have you shaken a minnow?
Dude, I'm just envisioning like a glass.
I mean, I have to ask,
yeah, of course you could catch them that way. Like the way we've been catching these walleyes, like with some of these swim baits and stuff. Like,
no, I mean the trout.
Yeah, that's of course you could throw that out there and you would wreck them. Like if you threw one of those, we've been fishing the drip swimmer from Berkeley quite a bit. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the drips. And also too, I saw your sweatshirt, Sam. The Crush City, the mooch minnow.
The mooch.
We've been fishing that thing, and we were just like, my gosh, can you imagine if you put this on a worm hook and threw it on a fly rod and just threw it out there and just stripped it back and let it just kind of dart around? Like, you would destroy the trout. You would absolutely destroy them.
Is that illegal?
No, nothing about it is
Then why
illegal.
wouldn't you just do that?
Because it's a merit-based activity. I'm a fly fishing guy.
That's almost worse.
That's exactly
worse.
Like, of course, like it would, like you could just sit out there with like a bobber and a worm and you'd catch a million fish. That's not the idea of like fly fishing for trout. Like, of
All
course,
right, I got our
there's better
next
ways to do
viral
it.
video, Sobi. We're gonna go out there and do a 1v1, you versus Stolski, and you get a shake a mooch minnow.
He'll win.
Okay,
he will
okay,
win.
okay.
Of
We will
course.
allow this to be the Snoopy pole exercise.
Yes, we will allow this.
I think say what you want about fly fishermen, and like I'm not.
Oh, we
I
will.
don't only fly fish, but fly fishermen for the most part, they just accept that what they're doing is they're at a disadvantage. Like, of course, there's like a better way to catch them, but it's like we're trout fishing, So like, who cares? It's not like you're fishing for marlin, Then of course you want to have like good like big giant reels and like all this stuff. Like, they're trout, So,
but I feel like we do that, even we do that in the bass world too. Like, come late fall when, they're feeding up. Like if we all went smallie fishing with, just rigging a chub or rigging a leech, like we would throttle smallmouth. People are like, dialing in jig head sizes and minnows and, they're on a blade bait today, they're on a Kitech jig. It's like, we could just probably throw.
If you Lindy rigged a creek chub down there, like you'll catch way more. So it's just, you're willingly giving up a little bit of it. And I think that fly fishing is no different, and I don't know. I just think for trout, in my opinion, it's more fun, to catch them on a
if I came rod. Trout fishing with you, that's exactly what I would want to do. I just do think it would be hilarious to like actually try it and be like,
we talked about, me and my brothers were like, man, gosh, should we just like throw a spinning rod in the boat tomorrow? Like when we're guiding, like, why don't you try this out for a second?
Rooster tail.
Yeah. No, here's a mooch minnow. You're just going to throw that thing out there and twitch it twice and you'll watch it. You just
start slamming them. You look at your client and you're like, another guide's coming by. You're like, put it away. Put it away.
Drop your rod. Just open up the bail and set it down. Open it up. Yeah.
What does that say? What does that say about walleye fishing in general? Even for folks to take it really serious, like, I mean, bass. We try to catch them a million different ways and dial us in. Trout, it's run by the fly world, and it's a huge cultural deal to tie your own and dial it in. And then walleyes, everyone's like, well, we're gonna use live bait for sure if we're going for walleyes.
Right?
Why?
I'm gonna buy $1,000 flat, or thousands of dollars of flats of night crawlers.
I mean, just your bait bill. Anybody that's like a fishing guide in Minnesota that guides walleyes. I mean, your bait bill I know for my dad. I mean, he guides 130 days a year, and most of that's walleye fishing, and most of it's live bait. I mean, you are spending so much on bait. Man, it's a lot, but it certainly works at the right time.
I'm really glad you got into the really more budget friendly sport of fly fishing.
See, that's just it. It's like, at least I don't spend $15 a dozen on chubs, but this rod in my hand is $800. Like, just insane. Yeah,
you have to be wearing Sims logos the whole time for them to bite.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of anti Sims now. Not anti, but no, you are right. Like, you got to have the nice stuff, and you got to have like the nice.
Why are you anti Sims? I got a
hat. It has to be a rope hat.
It's not niche enough.
Yeah, is it not niche enough?
No, I shouldn't say I'm anti Sims. Like, I still think they make really good stuff, but Sims has been bought and sold by private equity twice now. Like, they're just. I've just heard some stuff like recently, and I don't know if it's true or not, but maybe the customer service just isn't quite what it used to be. And but that's happening to a lot of companies that get bought up by private equity. The same private equity company that owns Sims also owns Stone Glacier, which is a hunting brand. They make packs and stuff. And I have a ton of their stuff. But a lot of the original group of guys that were basically started Stone Glacier, I mean, none of those guys are there anymore. And so I don't know. I mean, it's sort of a tale as old as time, private equity buys a smaller company and then they just squeeze it down. I mean, it's a very black and white thing with the PE guys, it's all about the margin. So I think quality goes down, customer service goes down, all that stuff. But I don't know. It's hard to say. Didn't Dobbins get bought?
Yeah, everybody's underneath GSM now. Yeah,
Sure. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's all. I
it's
don't know.
happening to so many companies in the fishing industry just because, like Panger was saying, our industry is 65 years old. So, like with the tournament bass industry, right? So, for example, like a lot of these companies are 20 to 40 years old, right? Something like that. Well, their owners are at the prime age of, I would like to sell and retire or do whatever. So, like, it's just it's kind of a natural timeline of stuff's going to start turning around. New stuff's going to come up. Old stuff's going to go out.
Right. And I think too, like,
economy.
When a company gets bought and quality goes down, well, then somebody comes in and fills that void. So
yeah,
there always will be new, I think, new companies with the right people around them or within them that will sort of replace, like, everyone gets so nostalgic about, like, I don't know, like older, like companies that you really loved, and then things change, but there's always going to be a new guy that comes in and like fills that void, I think, anyways.
What's the coolest fly fishing brand do you think right now, regardless of the product or anything you do, but just a company you're like, they're so sick, or at least they're sick to me.
Or maybe the next up kind of type of thing.
I think probably one of the hottest brands in fly fishing right now is a company called Squala, SKWALA, and they're a soft goods brand, so they make waders and jackets and all that kind of stuff. But they were started by a guy that was one of the first guys at Sitka. So a guy that has a lot of soft goods experience and that kind of thing. And they're based in Bozeman, like Sims is, I guess, or was. And they've kind of, they've filled kind of a little bit of that void that maybe Sims left open, and they're pretty popular. I mean, I own some of their stuff. I don't have like their waders or anything, but
Sam, those hoodies we got are from there.
Squala.
Yeah, those are those Onyx fish.
They're really sweet. They're really
sweet. The sun. Yeah. I've got one of those. They make some nice
wicked
stuff.
Good.
So, but there will always be like a company like that who's sort of like new and like on the scene and like still small enough where like they, you could call their phone number and you'd talk to a real person, like that kind of thing, which I think people or consumers like myself, like I appreciate that, like calling a number and talking to someone who's actually like at the office, and that kind of thing. And I mean, for the longest time, what's that?
Did those brands kind of get hot, at one time, and then they either keep growing and do really good, and then they're back in the same spot where you're talking about in 15 years or whatever, they're selling out to whoever,
right?
Or they just like aren't that popular and they just kind of burn out,
right? And I think, like you guys are saying, I mean, like Adam brought up, a lot of these guys that are started these companies or whatever, a lot of them are, the company's 30 years old. Well, they're at the age where they want to retire. So I don't blame anybody or any company for wanting to sell and get their money's worth. I mean, why not? Right. But
you work your whole life that way, and you get it to a place where you're like, hey, I can set up my family for the next year or two, or next generation or two, that they're more ahead, depending how big it is. It's like, that's what you worked 30 years for
right?
Sure.
That's the goal of the whole business, right?
Right.
To make
exactly.
Money.
Yeah. It is capitalism, no doubt about it. So I would say that Squall is pretty hot on the fly fishing scene for sure. And then, you have like a lot of these like legacy, like rod brands that are still, G Loomis makes awesome fly rods, Sage, Scott, Orvis. I will say this about Orvis. Orvis is a massive brand. Orvis
They've been around
huge,
forever.
right? Forever, over 100 years, I'm fairly certain. And they've been like family owned the whole time. They've never sold to private equity. Actually, the guy, his last name is Perkins. He has a house here. He's no longer the CEO. His son is now, but he has a house here on the Missouri River. I mean, a beautiful spread, like a very nice house. But I mean, he fishes here. I see him on occasion. This guy that is, the owner of Orvis.
That's crazy.
And he's got a place here. I think that's a testament to how good the fishing is here, is that if the owner of Orvis has a house,
he could pick anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Right.
What's the hottest waders going right now in fly fishing for someone that's like, I need to level up right now?
Sure, if you got the coin and you want a nice set, I would say, you've got Sims still makes a very good wader because they have Gore-Tex, and I still think Gore-Tex is the best fabric there is of soft goods. Like as far as water resistance, all that, I think it's very hard to beat Gore-Tex. The Toray stuff is still, it's good, but I don't know. It's hard to beat Gore-Tex. So of course you still have Sims. And then also Grundens. Now, do you guys ever wear any Grunden stuff?
Yeah. I wear their flip flops.
I haven't worn it a ton, but I've seen more and more of it kind of showing up in the other aspects of freshwater.
I can't say enough good things about Grundens. I own a lot of Grunden stuff. Most of my rain gear is Grundens. I have the Grundens waders now, but they've made a hard push into sort of the sport fishing world. Grundens for a long time was commercial fishing.
Yes.
When you watch Deadliest
they were
Catch,
like saltwater,
like the heavy rubber stuff. But now they've made a dive into the sport fishing and fly fishing world. So they make waders, and I actually own their waders, and they're pretty awesome. I like the Grundens waders a lot. And then third, I would say Squala, who we just talked about. They make nice waders. And then Patagonia. Patagonia does make really good stuff. They have good soft goods, all that. But those I would say are your big three or big four. And then Orvis, they make waders too. But I mean I still think the Sims waders are still probably about as good as it gets, But they're $1,000. $1,000 for a pair of waders. No different than the Sitka waders or the Kuyu waders or First Light, I think, has waders now too, but
get a hole in them just the same climbing over a barbed wire fence.
And that's just it. So really then it comes down to who's got the best repair program, and for the longest time it was Sims. You'd send them back to Sims and they'd have you fixed up and they'd do it for free no matter what. And I've heard that has kind of changed a little bit. So I think that's where some of Patagonia has a really, really good warranty on their waders. If something happens, you send them back, they just send you a new pair. My Grundens waders, I haven't had any issues with them, so I don't really know. I think they've got good customer service, but I don't know. So it's I don't know. I like all that. I do like the kind of nerdy fishing industry stuff too, as much as I like the fishing. It's fun to be around newer brands and all that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
No doubt.
Well, there's a lot changing right now.
Yeah, there is. There's a lot of I don't know, new stuff coming out. And yeah, I mean, is there anything to talk about bass fishing a little bit? I'm not plugged into it, but I still spectate. Who's the new name in bass fishing, would you say?
In terms you have of a Japanese logo,
sure.
Anything Japanese, that's it. Literally in mass companies are.
What about for rods, for instance?
Dobbins is doing really good now.
Yeah,
I would say them getting purchased, just their supply chain stuff now. It seems like there's more Dobbins everywhere now. I think they're doing really good. St. Croix's a staple.
Do people still fish? Do people fish Loomis rods?
Yeah, I was going to say Loomis NRX will never go away.
Yeah.
Dane Veselka, his rods are actually doing really good in Minnesota right now.
Be the Minnesota staple now. I mean, everybody's fishing those. So
yeah, starting to do really good.
What about the Elliott rods? I mean, guys are fishing. That's more of a walleye thing, I guess.
Yeah, I think they're making some bass rods and getting some more guys, but I think they're doing really well on the walleye end, and then especially ice fishing. They're
and they got bought too. So
yeah, they got bought by Acme.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so they're a part of Acme now. Yeah,
sure.
But other than
but there's still there's still a pretty big market in the limited run bait categories of people that are building super expensive hand pour swim bait stuff.
Yeah, especially it seems like big swim baits have always kind of been a thing, but they were a huge deal back in the early 2000s when the Elite Series went to Clear Lake, and then the Bass Tricks and everything like that happened. And then you saw big swim baits and glide baits take off, your huddle spins and stuff. And then, they took off and then they kind of died down for a while because it was hard to win an event doing it or you would lose enough fish. But now with forward facing sonar, you've seen I think a very big surge in like glide baits and bigger swim bait type stuff, because your efficiency with that bait is so much higher that it becomes more useful. So there's definitely a huge market for like high dollar glide baits right now.
I want to ask you guys, I mean, this is kind of an unrelated thing, but just something that I've seen on Instagram or social media in terms of like this. I hate to like keep talking about this, but the forward facing sonar in musky fishing, right? So like I'm watching some of these videos that just show up, and it's these guys, and I mean, you know, they find the musky on the FFS, and then essentially to me it looks like you just harass it until it finally bites. And maybe that's not the case, but I'm like, to me that sort of takes a little bit out of the musky fishing endeavor, right? I mean, it's sort of like you sign up to musky fish, you sign up to struggle a little bit, but and maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's like not that easy, but like the videos I'm seeing, it's just like these guys are out in the middle of like nowhere, and they just like see it, you know, and then just like have the people keep casting to it, and then they like, you know, finally it eats. But what do you guys think about?
I think you probably know a lot more about.
Well, there's
I've never done it either. I've never.
Yeah, neither do. No, I'm not. Yeah.
So I think I
have opinions that are just opinions with nothing backing them.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Is like I have no stake in it. Just and watching it, a 30-second clip doesn't tell the whole story.
And I haven't been involved in like these conversations either. Like there are people that have been like, you know, involved in like the decision, or well, probably more valid like conversations about it in musky fishing or whatever. But it seems like what was going on is like two things. It's like, yes, people are using it and it's obviously super effective. Like you're saying, they can like see, I mean, this isn't a bass, you know, I mean, it's a 4-foot fish,
right,
in the wide open or whatever. They're finding them that way, and like not casting all day, more like driving, finding, then throwing at them.
Right.
And I think there's kind of two things, like people saying, yeah, it's like making it super easy to target them. Right.
Sure.
The other thing is that they're targeting these fish that are like more, like they've gone out to this deep water to recover, do whatever they're doing. Like they're not like actively necessarily like hunting fish. So they're able to get them to bite, but because of the way the bait's being presented, it potentially, this is like some of the conversations that are going on, is people saying that potentially is harming them more because they're eating a bait that's moving so slow, that's being presented like right to their face, that it's actually causing a lot more damage to like gills and stuff based on handling, because people are throwing like rubber baits at them that they're inhaling so deep that really, not that didn't happen before, but it's like, if you were just fishing like a weed flat and you were just ripping it along, the odds of them eating it that deep are not as high.
Right. Cause it's more sort of,
and then you have kind of the same thing with like guiding, where like some of these people are taking people out on some of these bodies of water, like on a regular basis, and they're catching a lot. Like the fish are just seeing more handling than ever on some of these smaller bodies of water.
Right. And I think that's kind of what I've been seeing, is like these, like, not to like badmouth anybody or anything like that, but it's mostly like guides, I assume anyways, you know, and it's like, you know, I don't know. I mean, I think it's one of those things where you have to be careful, especially from a guiding standpoint. You know, I look at a place like the Kenai River in Alaska, for instance. This is a good example of it. And it's a totally different fishery, totally different fish. But it was one of those things where you never thought it was going to run out, or things were never going to get tough, right? Mm-hmm. So my dad, for instance, he guided there in the 80s and the 90s when things were really good, like really, really good, where you're going out there and you are getting giant kings and you're throwing. Now, these guys are not keeping these muskies, I understand that, but just using the Kenai as an example, where you're throwing back a 40-pound king to try to kill a 60-pounder, and usually you do every day, right?
Wow,
50-pounder or whatever, you know. I mean, his first summer that he worked there in the late 80s, he was just the fish cleaner for this outfitter, and he kept track of every fish that he cleaned. And the average size king was 49 pounds. That was
Jesus.
the average. That was the average. Right? And so then, you know, like you sort of, the human nature is that, well, these fish are never going to run out. They're here. But like now the Kenai has been closed to king salmon fishing for the last 3 years. You can't even target them. I guided there prior to the Nushagak long ago in 18 and 19. And we could still fish them then, but it was a shadow of its former self. And, you know, I think it's just one of those things where like we as fishermen or as humans sort of take advantage of a resource because we don't ever think that it's nothing can happen, right? Because everything's good right now. So, you know, it's all honky-dory until things start to take a slide. I'm not saying that's going to happen with muskies. It can happen to any fishery.
But it's interesting in the musky world because the anglers have taken it upon themselves to make it this like catch and release thing. We're not
sure, of course,
taking these fish, whatever. But it's like inadvertently, like some of these fish are obviously dying based on like how they're being handled, how hooks are being removed.
Yeah. I mean, you fish these giant musky baits, right? I mean, they have a lot of hooks on them. And like you said, if something inhales that when they eat it and really eat it, you know, I mean, I don't know. Maybe, you know, maybe you could go to single hook for muskies. Is that the craziest thing? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, and maybe that's where it goes, right? Is like people keep
like,
doing it. But you can't argue that like in some of these lakes, though, especially smaller lakes, right?
Yeah,
like I'm not talking about huge bodies of water, but like fish that were maybe getting caught a couple of times in their life go to having to go through like being caught 5, 6, 7 times because people are able to see them suspended.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It can only take so much, right? I mean, they're a big, powerful fish, but it's like,
what's the regulation that got put in on leach? Do you know the details of that?
I don't even
maybe
know.
it wasn't a regulation or like a program or whatever.
I don't want to. Don't quote me because I don't know like.
Yeah,
sure.
I don't know if it's a regulation or anything. I just
about.
know something got put in place. Yeah.
Yeah, they posted some signage there that was like, I don't even know the wording, so I'm going to botch this, whatever. But basically, it was like a sign that just like told people that they shouldn't be targeting muskies over a certain depth of water or something like that.
Okay.
Because it seemed to be a concern in Walker Bay.
Yeah, but I think it was like they posted these. I don't think it was like an actual law. I think this was like I don't know if it's like the association or what. That's what it seemed like to me. I could be totally off base there, but it was like maybe a recommendation, or it was them like outing people, being like, you know, don't do this because it's harmful to our fishery or whatever. Okay, you know, I mean it's people putting their stamp on what they think should be happening there, but. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that it's actually like a technology issue, as more of it is like an application issue, like the way people are handled, like maybe they're not prepared for it or whatever, you know.
Dude, it's a big fish, and you know, we've kind of come to learn. I'm not in the musky world by any means, but we've come to learn that you know they are, you know, a lot of them float and suspend, and they go out and you know, they get off their structure and they will still eat. It is a little jarring to me that I feel like Ryan has all this musky experience and Bart has 0. But if I said, all right, first one to catch 3 muskies or first one to catch a muskie wins, Bart versus Ryan, Leech Lake.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Bart Ryan's got a better shot, but I got a shot.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's almost kind of stinks because there is that, like Will was saying, like there's that enduring part of musky fishing that I feel like is associated with that sport. That's so cool. But now, like, would Bart have 0 years of experience and maybe not have to endure? And I think if Bart had 3 days on Leech Lake, would he probably get on a program? Probably.
Yeah.
Well, and the interesting
wild
thing that's like similar to the bass world though is like now that people are using it a lot more, you're seeing a lot more bigger than what has previously been a very common fish to catch. Like in northern Wisconsin, the amount of like 48 plus inch fish that I've seen pictures on social media of like in the past 2 years is like,
where that didn't exist before. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
the amount of 50s I've seen even in Minnesota in the last few years.
Well, right.
Is
but a
outrageous
50 incher in Minnesota is a lot more common than a 50-incher in Wisconsin.
I'm just
Yeah,
okay.
You know
So
what I
I'm
mean?
even saying a 53 to 56.
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
crazy big numbers.
And there are people that are very good at it. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like they have really dialed in their program and
Well, yeah, and I think just to circle back on it all, I think my thing is not necessarily my thing, but I think the thing to keep important is like just because the getting is good at this time doesn't mean it's gonna stay good, you know?
Yeah.
Because like I've just been a part of like fisheries that have just completely collapsed and fallen apart, you know,
Right.
Alaska, for instance. And like, you know, I worry about this place where I guide now. I mean, on the Missouri, we have a tremendous trout population. Everything is great. Everything is good, but pressure is higher than ever. You know, there's more fishermen, more whatever. But it's like, just because I know, like, I never experienced any of these like glory days in Alaska, but I do know, like, from my dad and just from knowing a lot of guides that have been around a long time, it was like the mindset was always, this is never going to run out. We need to, you know, basically, I hate to say the word exploit, but that is what they were doing. And the sport fishermen don't want to take any part of the blame, especially in Alaska.
Right.
We want to blame the commercial fishermen, you know, but whatever the fishery is, I mean, I think if you beat it down long enough and hard enough, eventually the fish are going to suffer. And so I don't care what you're fishing for.
Well, it's the golden. I think it's the golden rule of like just because I can doesn't mean I should.
Exactly.
And,
But
it's the
exactly
integrity
what
of
it is.
being an sportsman and an angler. And like
Right.
when we talk to Weeb, it's the type of thing of like, hey, you have this and utilize it, and it's great for future studies of fish,
Right.
fish behavior. We're learning more than ever. But you can't
Sure, of
open that box. You can't open that. Like my favorite line from Weeb when he talked about it was, don't open that door because you don't know who's going to walk through.
Right, exactly.
Right.
And I don't want to sound like either like I'm standing on some sort of pulpit, like I'm some sort, you know.
No, I think it's a very good conversation topic.
I'm commercializing the fish more than you guys are, right? I'm a fishing guide. And so like people are paying me and we go out there and like the goal is to catch fish, you know, of course. But at in that same token, you know, I mean, like I need them to live, especially the trout, you know, like they have to be there for me to have a job. And so, and I think most every guide is in the same boat. And I think
and like you said, though, I mean, you're dealing with 4,000 fish per mile or whatever.
Right,
and it's like, I think,
I don't know if there's a lake in Minnesota that has 4,000 muskies.
Sure. Right.
Well, I'm going to say, I'm going to say one last thing on the like musky front of this whole thing. Like trout fishing, I feel like is like, I mean, yes, you can be like very good at it and like catch bigger fish than other people and this and that. But like the barrier to entry to like catching a trout, not super high.
Sure, exactly.
Catching a bass, most people can just go down to the dock and catch a bass on a wacky worm or whatever. Yeah, you're not going to win a tournament, but like you can go do it.
You can.
I think musky fishing is like just inherently difficult.
It's
hard.
Think
for a lot of people, they could fish many years and not even catch one. Right. So they see this new ability to like, if I do this, my barrier of entry maybe is higher financially, but like if I get good at this technique, like I'm going to be able to catch these fish, which is probably true. But there are also people that like haven't caught many, you know what I'm saying? I think you got people now that are catching fish that have no idea what to do with them, which is more of a problem than ever, because it's like somebody that might be used to handling 1 to 5 fish per year.
Right.
And is now dealing with potentially big fish,
a 50-inch fish. I mean, it's I agree.
And I think that's a good point too with that, Pink, because like when we did talk to, you know, referencing back to when we talked to Aaron, and for anyone who's listening to this pod now, obviously we've grown a ton in the last like 6 months. There's a conversation from like probably a year and a half ago with Aaron Weeb, Uncut Angling. Should listen to it. It's very, very good. Kind of touching on this type of topic, but Aaron brought up a huge part of it is educating people on fish handling. And that is one thing that Aaron has done since Uncut started. He was like, I mean, he has been very adamant about properly handling fish, not mismanaging them, not holding them out for too long, getting them back in the water quick for after pictures, whatever it is. Like not using a fish as a prop for filming a show.
Agreed.
Like you show the fish off and you put it away. And I think it's just very important for, you know, whether it's guys like us who make YouTube videos or like Bill, you have a huge impression on a ton of people because you have so many guide clients of just showing like, hey, this is what you do. Like you respect the fish and you take this amount of time and then you put it back.
Sure. And I think, you know, I mean, we're all guilty of it. I mean, anybody that's been fishing for any period of time has, you know, you've mishandled a fish. It just happens. Right. And so, you know, I think it's like you said, it's making a habit of limited time out of the water, get a few pictures and be done with it instead of like trying to get like the superhero shot, you know, and all that. And I mean, like I said, we've all been getting, I've been guilty of it for sure, you know, but I think we as fishermen or sportsmen or however you want to categorize, I mean, we can all be better, myself included. Right. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's just something, no matter what you're fishing for, if you're not keeping that fish to eat it and you want it to live, you know, I mean, there's just things that we can all do to be better about it. And
well, and just having the right tools, right? I mean,
right, exactly. Being prepared for what you're going to catch, you know, and muskies is certainly, I think, the pinnacle of all those fish, you know, at least freshwater wise, because they're really big and they've got a lot of teeth and they're not easy to handle. You know?
And the hardware you're stabbing into their face is substantial.
It's substantial.
So it's like, you know, but even like trout, like if you don't have like a small, like forceps type, like you're just jamming like a big needle nose pliers down their throat, you're probably killing a bunch of them that you're letting go.
Right, exactly. It's having the right tool for the job. And
I gotta ask this question about salmon and the Kenai just before I lose it. I really have, and it kind of touches on the same thing. But like you said, you've seen it a little bit, but a lot of the guys that you've been with have, you know, seen the Kenai drastically go downhill, and I think that's like part of me being uneducated. I just think that's weird because don't salmon kind of have a predetermined lifespan?
They do, Sam. And so like when a salmon comes into a river system anywhere, they are going to die, right?
Sure.
But if you kill that fish before it gets to the spawning grounds, then it's not going to reproduce, right? So if you catch a salmon and kill it, then that fish just isn't going to spawn. And that's just the decision that you make. And, you know, and that's, I think, a lot of what happened on the Kenai was like a lot of these big fish got killed. They took out a lot of these big fish genetics, you know, when you're throwing back the 40 pounders, killing the 60 pounders.
Sure.
And now there's a lot of salmon fishing is hard because I think it's death by 1,000 cuts, right? Because you have commercial fishermen, you have bottom trawlers, all this other stuff is happening in the ocean that we have no control over. But yeah, the salmon, when they enter the river, it's a death sentence, right? Their dietary system shuts down and they're done. Pacific salmon anyways. But if that fish can make it to the gravel and spawn, you know, you hope that his babies or, you know, her, whatever, they can keep those big genetics and they can go out to the ocean and they can live for a king. In the case of a king salmon, they'll be out there for 4 years, sometimes 5, and they can come back and do it again. And an interesting thing about the Kenai is that, you know, they have these goals. So they have a sonar counter that counts the kings and it counts sockeye too. But this year was the first year in the last 5 years, I think 4 or 5 years, that it has actually met. They set goals, right, for number of fish. And this year it met the lower end of the escapement goal, which I think was 13,000 or no, closer to 15,000 fish made it back, but there was no fishing allowed for them whatsoever. And so on the Kenai, when the sport fishermen can't fish for them, the commercial fishermen, the set netters in the Cook Inlet, they can't net either. And so it's a paired restriction, right? And so this is a good thing because if the sport fishermen can't fish, then the commercial guys can't net, and all those kings that are river bound, they're going to make it, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to make it and they're going to spawn. And so I hope the Kenai stays closed to king fishing for the next 10 years. It needs 2 life cycles at least. and let all the fish come in, let them all spawn, have no sport fishing, no commercial fishing, each user group, no fishing at all, and let them get in and let them spawn and then see what happens, and then we'll have a clearer picture of like what is going on.
Is from what you've seen, like, how was this documented? Like, are they like it was from over harvest that it crashed, or was there like multiple factors?
That's what I wonder about too.
Sure.
Like, is it truly attributed to over
environmental factors?
I think there's
like there's so many lakes around here that cycle and do different things, even if it's not pressure. Like, we've seen so many different lakes cycle.
It's just on a bigger scale.
Yeah,
because you're talking about
exactly.
Population.
No, I think it's many factors, and I'm not a fisheries biologist. I don't know it. I don't know a lot about any of it, but I think that when you have a fish and an anadromous fish like a salmon that is born in a river and goes to the ocean to live and then comes back, there's a lot of things that can happen in that time period, right? So you go to an ocean, if you have warming ocean conditions like we've had, there's not as much feed for these fish. And then, maybe they're not eating enough, or they're getting intercepted by Japanese, trawlers or Chinese trawlers or American trawlers. We are a huge we have a giant trawl fleet of these big, huge nets, half a mile long, that are fishing for pollock. I think we've talked about this maybe a long time ago, but they're fishing for pollock, which is in your fish fillet sandwich you buy at McDonald's, but they are scooping up all kinds of different fish, bycatch they call it. And they have to throw them overboard. It's bycatch, and they're allotted a certain amount of bycatch here. Anyways, but then we also too, in the 80s and 90s, we had, commercial fishing in the Cook Inlet, and they were killing a lot of kings. But then you had the sport fishermen too, like guys, guides like my dad, who, like he said, you're throwing back a 40-pounder to try to kill a 50-pounder. And usually you did, And so I think you take enough big genes out of that pool, where all of a sudden it's like, what happened to all the big fish? They're still there, but it's not like, the glory days, where you're going out there.
I can totally see it, but the genetic aspect of it, though, where you're just you're selectively removing these big ones.
The big giant fish. I mean, these fish, they had their tails where you couldn't put two hands around them, rudders, right? These giant fish. And it's like, sure. I think if you kill enough of those fish, and like I said, the sport fishermen like ourselves don't want to take any blame, but I do think there's some blame to be put upon the sport fishermen. But it's a heartbreaking deal, because those were the biggest king salmon in the world come out of the Kenai. 7 out of the 10 world records have come out of the Kenai and the world record. It I will say this, there's a silver lining to all of it, and the next world record king will come from Argentina. There's not a doubt in my mind. I think it may have already been caught, because those fish down there, they're enormous, and they're Columbia River strain Chinook, and they don't have a lot of impediments. There's not a lot of commercial fishing. There's not a lot of fishing, period. And they're thriving down there. And so
they probably don't have as much influence from like dam obstructions and stuff like
that. No, hardly anything. And so I think, the next world record king, if someone decides to kill it and get it certified, it'll come from there. I have no doubt in my mind. I think it's already been caught. I think I've seen some pictures of.
Would you kill it and get it certified?
I don't think I would.
Why?
I just think it would go against everything that I just talked about. I think, Les Anderson, who's the guy that holds the world record for the king salmon, he caught that in the late 70s, and it was 98 pounds, right around there, or 96, one of the two. But he caught that fish in the morning. He was a local Soldotna guy, threw it in the bottom of his boat and kept fishing, and then waited in the afternoon. He didn't even think it was, even close. So that fish was probably a live weight over 100 pounds. And, I don't know. I don't think I would. I think I'd release it. It would be cool to have your name next to that record, but at the same time, it's like, well, then I just contradicted everything that I've been preaching about, in terms of king salmon fishing, so.
Still be badass to get your hands on that thing.
I take some
Experience
pictures.
that fish, like shit.
Right. And the thing is, if I hooked a 100-pound king, or most people and there have been people I'm sure that have hooked a fish that big or bigger, usually you lose them. I mean, they're just huge, they're going to beat you. So like you need multiple shots at a fish that size. And I just can't really think of anywhere in the world where you're going to have like legitimate multiple shots. I think Argentina, you have a chance. I mean, there's been some legitimate fish in the 90-pound class caught down there, but man, you need everything to go right to land a fish like that. Everything. Especially on a fly rod. I mean, you're already.
Yeah.
I mean, you might as well just like
in a river too.
Yeah, you hook that fish. I mean,
that's
you might
what
as well
a 2-hour operation at that point, basically.
Yeah, I mean, at least you might as well just like give it up. But it could happen. I think it maybe it will down there, but most of those places that are fishing down there, there's like one lodge operation that's doing the king salmon down there legitimately, and they're all catch and release. So I mean, even if that fish gets caught, I think they'll release it.
Who are those guys that I don't know if they're making YouTube videos or if they just do social media that are down there that have like the lease area or whatever? Who are those?
Trace Amigos, probably.
Yeah.
Those guys they're legit. They've got it pretty well locked up. I fished like I haven't fished their stuff where they fish, but I fished tributaries of that same main stem river, and where they are, they have it. They leased it all up, so it's just theirs. And where I was fishing was public water, and it was pretty much ruined. Just the amount of people snagging them, and it goes back to that thing where it's like, wow, these, it's a relatively new thing in Argentina, but also too, it's like the people are like, they don't understand what kind of
they have.
Commercial value that this has, and there's guys guiding down there where I fished. We fished with a guide my first year, but it's like, man, it could be so much better, than what it is if it was a little more regulated, but hard to say. Just a lot of fish out there.
I think that's cool.
That's really cool. It's just such a different world.
That spun a long ways from a forward-facing sonar question about muskies.
Yeah, it did. We got on a bit of a tangent.
Nailed it. I
think so. I think this was a productive conversation.
That was great. Yeah, fantastic.
I think so. It's all, we all fish for different things, but it all boils down to the same deal where if we want to release them, we want them to live, so
at the end of the day, we all enjoy catching fish and it's fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the root of it all. No matter what you're fishing for, how you're fishing them, you want to do it again.
What do you think about all the just nasty hate in the keyboard warrior action that's revolving around bass fishing in general, just because you're in a different realm chasing different species, and does that happen in the trout world? Does that happen? I don't even know if it happens in the walleye world. It doesn't really happen in the ice world. It just seems like it's so revolving around the bass world, which makes it so gross, and it turns myself off a lot to that. But I know you follow, you kind of you follow the whole fishing world, especially bass and everything.
Yeah, your boy Trigger Trey almost won his second AOI this year.
Yeah, I was pulling for him. No, I think it is kind of gross what's going on. I think there's a lot of, you have sort of this generational clash, these younger guys that are coming in and they're doing so well, because they have figured it out, with what's provided. So I have a tough time with it because it's like, I listened to a little bit when you're talking to Matt before I got in here, and he was saying now everybody is pissed, right? Yeah. With this new bass rule, because it's like you have the guys that were on the one side or the other, and now this new thing where they're only going to do whatever, so many tournaments at the FS. Now you just pissed off everybody, and so now everyone's up in arms, and I just think it's a little ridiculous because it's like, when the Vexlar came out, I'm sure there was all kinds of, people were worked up about that, we're talking or before that, the green box, which read off of it was like a live like imaging with paper,
Yeah.
the first Lowrance, right? I mean, that changed everything.
It was going to empty lakes.
Yeah, it was going to empty lakes, right? And so I do believe that, the FFS or whatever, it makes them easier to catch, but I think the fish, and I don't know because I don't have it and don't use it, but I think you guys can probably speak to this more. The fish, they do evolve and they maybe get used to it, or they can feel it or whatever, and things will change. But I think it's kind of a bummer because, I mean, 5 years ago, there was nothing like this in bass fishing. Everybody was like, it was all good, it was all honky dory. And now it's like you have two sides. And if you don't pick a side, then, well, whose side are you on? And I think it's a bummer deal because I think tournament bass fishing is the best example of any kind of competitive fishing there is, in my opinion. Like, it's just awesome. Like, I haven't bass fished in years, and I would love to, but I just don't anymore, just because of where I'm at and what I'm doing. But like, I love tournament bass fishing. I think it's really cool. It's how I cut my teeth. I mean, it's really where I learned how to fish. And I learned from guys like Aaron Teal and Mark Shirley and, guys, and Brent Relopez, and like guys that taught me a lot about just fishing in general.
And potentially it's maybe where you like, it went from being something that you thought was cool or you like to you're like, holy shit, I want to be a fisherman. Just like I just want to fish.
100%.
That's now like my identity almost.
Yes,
like, that brought you to the next level of being like, I'm not only like to fish, I'm addicted to fishing.
Yes, it like dialed me in a second, and I was lucky. I got to fish around a lot of guys that were a lot better than me and that taught me a lot. And I remember fishing with like Brett McComas when I was like in high school, and like, man, learned a lot from him, learned a lot from all these guys. But it was like, I like this, just the fishing aspect of it all. But I was like, this is really cool. And I feel like bass fishing used to be sort of more unified, and like there was never, this is obviously it's just crazy to me that some sort of technology can divide such a huge base, I mean, there's more bass fishermen, I assume anyways, I don't know this, than any kind of fisherman in the entire country. I think maybe there is, right?
Yeah,
I mean, bass is just a universal
I would think
thing.
it's like the most accessible.
Yeah, like it's accessible. Like you can go out there and you can fish them from Florida all the way to Minnesota, and everywhere in between. So I think it's a bummer because I always enjoyed the Elite Series. I still follow it, loosely. I never really enjoyed MLF. I didn't like that format. I was always, I liked your best five, weigh them in at the end of the day. And now it's just turned into sort of, it's either you're on this side or that side or whatever. But like, I mean, these young guys, that are coming in and just dominating. I mean, it's sure maybe they're better with the technology, but that anybody can be better, right? Like these guys, they could learn it and they could be, I just think they don't really want to, and maybe not, but I don't know because I don't own a bass boat with a bunch of graphs on it. But
I think the bigger thing that's been learned through all of it, I think, especially with like Panger's shows and other, like actually talking to a lot of those guys who are super good, is a lot of it just boils down to like what we were told when we were growing up. Like, you want to be good, spend time on the water. And those guys now with college fishing and everything are spending insane amounts of time on the water with a tool that's ultimate efficiency. So like Trey McKinney beats everyone because he spends 300 days on the water. And because of pre-practice, he can go places before they go off limits and spend a month there. He knows every brush pile in that lake. He knows he knows where they are months ahead of time.
And even
but
just
he already's
like
got a whole lay of the land, like, and those young guys in general, I should say.
Fast-paced learning curve to just like learn a lot about bass fishing. Like I remember being like 14 years old and like I didn't have parents that really bass fishing. Like that's at 14 or even potentially probably 14 is when I like learned about the wacky rig.
Sure.
Or 15. And that was almost ahead of other people that didn't. And that's from a friend of a friend that showed me. But now imagine being 11 or 10 and watching 500 videos on how lethal that one technique is to just catch a bass. Boom. You're now 10 years old and you now fully understand that the wacky rig is extremely deadly. B, you have good colors. C, you know the right size. You got the hook. Boom. You've now mastered the wacky rig, or at least understand its potential by the time you're now 12. That is if 3 years before I even learned that it was on the face of the planet.
And if that kid makes it to the Elite Series, he watched all the videos from the people on the Elite Series that were teaching people how to do it, and then they're mad that they're beating them because they learned that from them.
Right, exactly. I mean, it gets so redundant, right?
Maybe YouTube's the problem.
Right. Could be social media in general, but I agree, Sam. I'll never forget. I was like, so when I started fishing with Mark, Shirley, and Aaron Teal, I was like young. I was like 14 or 15 years old.
Yeah.
And I started hanging around those guys, and they were like, I mean, Mark doesn't fish I don't know if you guys know Mark at all.
I know Mark,
Yeah, but Mark doesn't fish that much anymore. But him and Aaron, man, they were just like really hammers. And they were in high school, but I started hanging around those guys. And I mean, those guys showed me like what a craw tube was, like when I got exposed to the craw tube, like I was a kid, I couldn't even drive. Like, I remember I fished with Mark in the Fishers of Men Legacy series where you used to like, where you'd have like the older partner and the, that thing. I don't even think it exists anymore, but Mark would like just graduated high school and I fished with him, but we'd go over to Aaron's parents' place and like, I fished with those guys a lot and they showed me so much stuff, but it was all, like you said, it was pre-YouTube. It was you didn't have access to all this information. So those young guys now, I mean, they have access and they've taken advantage of it, which is like, I don't think that is a bad thing. They're good learners and they've put it into practice, and like they have capitalized on the success of that. And it's like, FFS is no different. You spend enough time with it, you get to know it. I think like with any body of water or wherever you're fishing, I mean, if you get really good with your tools, then you should be able to use it. So I don't know. I think it's just it's a generational thing more than anything. I think that's what it is, because the older guys are not doing that good anymore, and like,
well, a lot of them are, and they're old now. It's not even like they're in their 40s and you're like, oh dang, like I thought he still had it. It's like, no, like you're retiring age old from a sport. Like,
right, you've had your run,
you had a long career, you're going to be a Hall of Famer.
Right, and it's like, let these guys come in and do their thing, and they are dominating. I mean, they're kids, they're in their, how old is Trey McKinney?
20.
I don't
20. And how old is Easton?
Easton's like 22 or 30.
Okay, well,
he's getting
23.
old,
Sure, exactly. I mean, these are guys that are like, they should still be hanging out in Stevens Point, like
Be going to Oktoberfest.
Exactly. Yeah,
and they're steady breaking down a giant river system for $100K.
Right,
they should be laid up at the library.
That's what I was saying.
We'd have made it to the elites if we didn't go to Rusty's. I'm telling you right now.
Exactly. These are guys. They don't. Yeah.
But it's also progression too. Like, back in the day, like when when college fishing had just popped off and like, you'd taken, your high school hammers or some folks that knew a little bit more than the average angler. And you brought them to a college and then there was 20 people around you and you all talked. You're like, oh my gosh, I've just garnered knowledge from 20 people that know what they're talking about. And now picture that times a billion with YouTube and the internet and short form and everything. It's like incredible. I can't imagine how fast a person would learn. I'm learning new stuff every day because it's just.
But I will say that about the young guys is that they've committed themselves to learning. It's like you can't go out there and whatever, throw a jig against the dock. I mean, anybody can do that. and maybe sometimes you win, but not now, not now. And the one guy I never see bitch ever at all is Seth Fighter. Never once have I seen Seth ever. Have you? I mean, none of it, none of it. Does he complain? No, I don't think he
Not
does.
really. I think there's a little bit of hims and haws kind of at the beginning when everybody was kind of like, why are these young guys beating the shit out of all of us?
Yeah.
And then also I think I'm obviously not speaking for Seth here, but he's talked about it in interviews where he tried to learn it and get really good at it. And he's like, I hate this. So then this last year, he just was like, I'm going to flip and I'm going to fish shallow and I'm going to do my thing. But then if I can catch one or two fish doing it, I'll do it. And then Seth had a great year and he just absorbed it. And he was like, I'm going to go be me. And he knows when an opportunity shows up for him to be him, he's going to win.
I do think that's a huge common misconception about just FFS in general, that to possibly catch the most or the biggest bass, I have to always be utilizing this technology. And like you've seen guys make that flip, like a Seth and Bill Lowen and guys like that who just go, no, this is how I fish. This is how I'm fishing most confident. And they go back to that mentality and you watch them excel. And there's with any other approach out there in bass fishing, if some guys were really good at deep cranking, the guys that didn't like to deep crank would be like, oh, no. Like, dude, Kevin can have it. Like, I love doing this. And they never once went like, dude, deep cranking is winning millions of dollars. That's crazy. I should get on that. They'll be like, oh, I'll mix it in the repertoire. But this is where I'm most confident. I think guys have thrown that out the window where they're like, dude, I don't even care what I'm confident anymore. If I'm not good at that, I can't even do it. It's that's just not true. That's
no, 100%.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If everyone's doing it, of course people are going to win doing it because everyone's doing it.
Right, exactly. It's a statistics game at that point. It's like you play the odds. But I agree in that the guys that you do what you have the most confidence in, and you'll be fine. For the most part. But I don't know, the bass fishing world, it's a crazy, crazy deal. And for me too, we were talking, I mean, I'm like a third party viewer, I have no skin in the game anymore. I wish there was good bass fishing around here. I would go do it all the time. I miss bass fishing. I think it's awesome. The closest thing I get is drop shot a night crawler for a walleye.
But hey, it makes it easy to get a few fillets,
Right, exactly. So, but I still follow it. I still enjoy it. I always will. But I do think, back to our original point, it's sort of sad what has happened.
But I love your perspective, and I just love hearing that shit out of your mouth when you're just like, dude, bass fishing is awesome. And you haven't done it in years. I think there's so many folks out there that just, whether they do it every day or every weekend or once a year, twice a year, they've totally forgot that dude, bass fishing is awesome. Sometimes we get to see guys throwing crazy, weird dice to a minnow to, guess what? Bass still freaking choke a frog on top. There's so few fish that are in freshwater that just historically slam a bait on the top of the water, and that's a freaking bass, and that's so cool. So
in a giant
field ever,
giant mud field, scum pond, I mean, to see them come out of that, when they were in La Crosse, I mean, I was watching that, I was like, man, that is just so cool, to see them come out of that cheese,
the craziest places you can think to crawl back, the bass have already made it there. The craziest places that's just the abyss, the bass is potentially there.
Right. Then you see a guy fishing in the main river channel, and he's in the middle of no man's land, and he's catching smallmouth there. I mean, it's cool. They're a diverse species, They're
sick, dude.
Yeah, they're awesome. I mean, still to this day, I love the trout and I love everything else, but a bass is tough to beat, and I just don't get to fish for them anymore. I mean, that's one of the things you give up, when you come out here, I guess. So
I think that's good perspective for a lot of people, though, from you who've been a viewer and stuff, third party, especially with everything, because I think there's a lot of people who are just, like you said, just up in arms right now, or just what's going on with the sport I love. And it's like, dude, if everybody just chilled and was like, fishing's fun and this is all going to be fine, it'd be better. Like,
I mean, that's why we all do it, is because it's fun, you know, no matter what you're fishing for. You wouldn't do it if it wasn't fun. So it's like, you know, the fish are there. We can catch them most of the time. And sometimes it's okay not to catch them. That's the other thing that I've sort of learned, that it's like, it's okay if the fish wins, you know, whatever the fish is. Like,
I'm sure that was hard for you to kind of tackle around, just because like you want to show people such an awesome day. And even like talking with Hayes about that too, like he'll get, you know, different anxiety and stuff. Like I don't, like, he just is, if he's kind of not on him, he builds it up so big where like, oh, I don't know if we're going to limit today, or I don't know if we're going to limit, or I've been this many days in a row with a limit. I'm scared to not get a limit. And obviously bass fishermen do that at the highest level, or sport fishing, or
it's a stressful deal. And I do it to myself too. And it's like, man, all of a sudden you've gone the first hour and you haven't caught. I mean, this happened to me 2 days ago. I was guiding, and in the first hour we hadn't caught a fish. And it's like, oof, you know, okay, like this is going to be a tougher day, you know. And then all of a sudden you get one and it's a big one. And it's like, okay, that sort of seeds it. But yeah, there's like, especially guiding, at least I do anyways. And maybe someday I'll lose it, but there's a constant sort of anxiety of like, you got to produce, you know. And it's tough sometimes, because there's some days that it takes all the fun out of it, you know. But
I like what you said, like where you're like, it's okay. It's
okay.
Like the fish
but
can
it's
win.
Perspective too, because like you're guiding every day, and like having taken a lot of people fishing in the past several years that don't fish often. It's like your most like average day on the water that you're just shitting bricks about, like, dude, we're not on them, we're not catching. Your most average day is potentially their best day of all time. You know what I mean? So it's like balancing your expectations versus maybe a client or just somebody you have in your boat or fishing with you. It's like if you're all bummed out because you're not just slaughtering them, and then they're kind of like, why are we not hyped? Like, we're kind of smashing.
It's fine. It's all about setting perspective for sure. And like, I've been much better lately anyways about like, if we lose a fish, you know, we hook the fish, fight the fish, and lose it, it's like, that's okay.
You
know, he won this
we'll get another one,
but like, that's fine. We were gonna let him go anyways, you know, at least in terms of trout. I don't like it when I lose a salmon, you know.
when there's blood involved.
Exactly. When I'm out to bonk, then sure, that bothers me a little bit. But yeah, no, I've been a little better this year, especially. It's like, well, if the trout gets off or the fish gets off, it's like, it's okay if they win sometimes, you know. They should, you know, they should win sometimes. You shouldn't always catch them, you know. So it's okay if the fish wins. And I've been saying that too. Like, well, he beat you.
I like that.
You know?
I like that a lot.
And I think that's a good thing for any fish, you know. It's okay if they beat you sometimes. They deserve it, you know.
They earned it.
They did. They earned it more than we did, you know.
Oh, I think that's beautiful. Well, Bill, you said what? Didn't you say like I thought Pink said you had like 30 or 40 minutes.
Yeah, I think his date canceled, so he's wide open.
Yeah, I don't know. I think she's parked outside right now, idling. So I locked the door. I said, "Babe, I'm recording."
I'll get to you.
Yeah, just hold on.
Please, this is the #1 outdoors podcast
in the world. Please. Yes, so please,
not to be interrupted.
Yeah,
leave me to my studies.
Yes, sit in the pickup, okay? Oh, it was good to catch up, boys. That was fun. We talked about a lot of fun stuff.
We
there.
did.
That was good. We had some good convos there. So
yeah.
What can somebody do if they're like, you know what? I'm a longtime listener. Not only have I missed his voice, I've missed his face, but I got some ching in my pocket and I want to set the hook. Or potentially the fish could win. No pressure.
Sure. No pressure.
How do I fish with you?
The best thing to do is follow me on Instagram. Send me a message on Instagram. That's where I'm the most active. Will _Stolski. And come fish with me in Montana. And also some very exciting news. I've taken over the sales for our lodge in Alaska.
Yes.
So if you want to come to Alaska, you can contact me that way as well. And we have a great setup there, fishthenoosh.com. But that's the best way. Send me a message on Instagram and we can figure out what's best for you. If you want to come here, if you want to come to Alaska, or maybe you want to go to Argentina, but that's the best way. So
shit, now I might have to go to Alaska.
Oh, Bart, you would just eat it up there. It's like bass fishing for
Stolski's
salmon.
like, we're full.
Yeah, no, you would love it. I mean, you're throwing.
I might have to do it.
I've legitimately caught them up there on like skitter walks and poppers. And, like
catching a salmon on topwater like that would be ridiculous.
It's insane. You don't get a lot doing that, but you get a lot.
It would still be ridiculous.
Yeah, but that's the best way. And yeah, if anyone wants to come to Montana and fish this fall, I've got some days open, and then Alaska for the future. But always looking to book. So it was great to see you boys again. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you for coming on.
That was great.
Thank you.
It was like coming back into the bar you haven't been into in a long time.
Yeah.
It feels good. It feels good.
Feels right.
Yeah. It feels real good.
Yeah. All the listeners will have to hit Bill up and be like, let him know. Just let him know you still love him.
Yeah. I'm still alive, contrary to popular belief. So.
No, Hunter.
Well, we're not.
Thoughts and prayers always go out to Cody. He's down there,
he's in a glass crushing factory. So
beautiful. All right. Pink, do you have Bill? Do you want to stay longer or not?
Are you guys? I'll stay on. Sure.
Well, we got fan questions we can rip through. Then we'll call it.
We've been long-winded here, but
I can stay on. Yeah.
We want to appease the people.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think we'll end it with this. We'll close on this segment here.
Okay.
For the people. So we threw out a little question box on the Instagram a little earlier today, and we got some responses, fellas. And let's just burn through a couple. We're not going to do them all. We got way too many for that. But we'll kind of start at the top of the list here. Start working our way down. But there was this is a great one. We'll lead off with this one. It says, time to get Wild Bill on to see what he's been doing.
I love it.
Check that box.
Yep.
Questions answered.
Yep.
Check that box. All right, let's go. Some of these are targeted questions. So let's go with, and I guess we'll have to keep this one short. Bart, this one's directed at you. How's Bart feeling about the Vikings this season? Keep it short.
Good. I don't know.
Nice.
Oh, well, yeah. I think our defense is going to be really good. We'll see what JJ's got. Could be really, really good. Could be average. I don't know.
Beauty.
Optimism's high, but it's the usual Viking season.
Okay. This is great. We got Bill here for this one. Says, did y'all see the Idaho murders documentary on Peacock is out now?
Yeah, Bill, this podcast has been around long enough. We had an episode where you brought up the Idaho murders.
Yeah,
there's a documentary on it.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah. No, I haven't seen the documentary, but bummer deal for all of... Yeah. No, I haven't seen it. I should tune in, I guess. But, the problem with the whole Idaho... Not the problem, but the guy, the Koberger guy. I mean, there was no depth to it at all. I mean, he just kind of, when they sentenced him, he said, "No, I don't have anything to say." I would have liked sort of a long sort of, declaration of why he did it, but there was nothing, and we won't ever know anything. So, But
a story from the podcast has come to an end. There's a documentary on it now. You can watch it on Peacock.
Sure, we got some sort of royalties coming,
I would think. So, okay, Sobi, this is back-to-back questions directed at you.
Oh.
This one says, how does it feel to be called out by Mercer on Bass Live?
Wow.
Oh yeah, did you not hear about this, Bill?
Hold
No,
on.
I saw it. I saw it. Yeah.
Now hit me with
And
the
I bet you were like, God damn, I'm glad that they weren't the number one
I was
outdoor
like, oof.
podcast in the world when I skipped out on my turkey
It's
trot.
like, gosh,
hit
thank
me
God.
with the other question too, and maybe I
Thank
can
God I
answer it
wasn't
too
the
for one.
second.
Oh
Yeah.
no, that I do not think the second one will align with the answer to the first one.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I was thrilled that it wasn't me.
The feeling was jarring, honestly. Jarring and
Yeah, maybe first of all, tell the story of that to people because we haven't had a pod about it since, so that can like tell people about how that came up. And
I wish I could. I'll sum this up really quick. Dave Mercer's incredible. The folks at Bassmaster and Bass Live, incredible. They gave me an awesome opportunity to come down there and spice things up on the live coverage for day one at La Crosse, and I was like, game on. Dave is cracking jokes the whole time, like, oh, dude, I got super messed up the night before. Did I ask you to be on Bass Live? I texted a bunch of people. And I'm like driving down there that morning. I'm like, oh, what? No, I mean, yeah. Are you thinking 10 o'clock or what are you thinking? And he's like, I'm just kidding. Yeah, could be down here at 10 o'clock and the pressure is on. And like, this is live. This is not, when we're doing the podcast, we're doing it with boys and fun guests. When I'm doing YouTube, I control the record and not record, and I'm the dude behind the computer editing. When we do this Bass Live stuff, this is live, and I'm also a giant fan myself, watching Bass Live since, I was knee high. So I'm like really nervous before we go on. Dave is like, hey, just don't suck, okay? And he like looks me through my soul, and I'm like, no doubt, I got this. And I'm like freaking out. Dude.
Part of you is like, I don't know if I got this.
No, I'm freaking.
Don't
yes,
suck,
dude.
okay?
Yeah, he's like, hey, just whatever, like, because my boss is here, don't suck. And I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, I'm losing it. And then he drops this out of nowhere where he's like, actually, sometimes you do suck, but the segment's wrapped up. It's been very professional, and I'm giving it the beans. And he's like, sometimes you do suck, especially in fantasy fishing, and especially when you don't pay your debts. By fishing with a Snoopy pole. Like, any thoughts on that? Basically, he just drops this on live, and I'm like, what would you say? And this is a little basement podcast we're ripping here. I'm not thinking anything about this. I'm thinking we're
we're the number one outdoor podcast.
We're the number one outdoor podcast in the world. Sorry, went off character there a little bit. Sorry. but no, I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like in my head thinking about La Crosse, Pool 8, the river, the AOI battle between Johnston and Trey, and the diversity of this system. Like, I'm a million miles away from anything past the Barb, and he drops this on me, and I was jarred. I was shook. So now, A, I have to do it. B, I was publicly shamed, and C, that was pretty electric.
And then afterwards.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Then afterwards, I like talk with Dave and thank everybody, and it was awesome. And then I like go online, and these boys already have this clipped and on IG Reels, and there's comments, and I got DMs up the inn, and
Bassmasters collabed on it.
Yeah. My dad texts me. He's like, "What debts do you not pay?" And I'm like,
"Your dad's like, do you need money?"
Yeah. Are you okay? I'm like, "What do you? No.
No good deed goes unpunished."
I've been punked. I feel like I was had by Dave, Bart, and the whole crew there.
You were had.
I will give. It started because of Ryan.
I did. I had an epiphany while I was sleeping, and I said, "This is our moment." And I woke up and I texted Bart at like 7 a.m. and I said, "We have to make this happen."
He texted me and he's like, "You got a way to get a hold of those guys, don't you?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll just text Ronnie."
I said, "I know you have Ronnie Moore's phone number. Make this happen." And it happened quick.
And all I did was, for people to know, I texted Ronnie, and all I said was, "Hey man, super cool. Sobi's gonna be on live. Gonna be awesome. Got a favor to ask of you, and I think you'll be down for it." And I just told him about the bet and said, if there's any way you can get someone to bring it up on live, it would be awesome. He literally just thumbs up the text, and I told Pink, I was like, I think we're on.
I think we're good.
And then the best part was I was at Jay Long's, or our soup place, for our wedding when it happened. But I walked out like 2 minutes after, and I already had the video clip in my text from Ronnie.
Unreal.
Like, he had clipped it immediately, or some intern at
somebody
McKinnis, wherever they do the productions. And just in my head, I'm like, someone looked at someone and was like, hey, you got to cut that. And they're like, what am I doing this for? And then Ronnie sent it to me. I told Pink, I was like, dude, get this up ASAP and collab with Bass. And they want to do it. And yeah, it turned out great. And I'm just glad Sobi had no idea it was gonna happen.
I was the farthest. I was the one that was the outside man. There was a bunch of inside men on this, and I was the farthest out.
And not only was it on live, but it got like almost 30,000 views on Instagram, I think.
Yeah, it was.
So
it was
buried.
It was a great day because I was sitting there all morning, like, oh, I'm so excited for Sobi to be on live because we were some of the few who knew you were going. But I was also sitting there just like, this is gonna be awesome. Like, and he has no idea.
Do it.
As Wild Bill knows, as a man who has not paid a fantasy debt, and both of us are just living in debt, it's just not, it's not something you want brought up on live television.
No, especially with an audience like that.
Incredible. Next question.
All right. This is a great segue into the next question here. This one says, why does Sobi follow so many OnlyFans girls on the gram?
What?
That can't be true.
Yeah, that can't be true. I should go back and look through. When does this air?
Oh my god.
Spam.
Hayes Baldwin.
Oh my god. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Here's one. Over under on the amount of times Bart uses his boat the rest of the year, and they're setting it at 3.5.
Oh, I'm going over.
Yeah, I will. I can firmly say over.
I would hope over.
I would hope since you do have a boat.
Yeah, it has not been used much the last few months, but it will be used a lot here in the next few weeks to few months. So yeah, got a lot of exciting, fun stuff on the horizon, and I'm excited to go fishing again.
Bart's about to come into form and smash fall jives.
Yep. It was a long summer.
All right, a couple more here. So let's see. What's a harder achievement? 12-inch bluegill, 17-inch crappie.
12-inch bluegill. Because if it's a 12-inch bluegill, it's probably 2 pounds.
Yeah, probably 12-inch bluegill.
Yeah, that's a big bluegill.
That is big.
Like I can, every winter you see, I don't know, you see quite a few 17 to 18s get caught, especially around here.
Sure, and those are just the ones that get posted.
Yeah, those are just the ones that get posted. Like it's pretty rare to see like a 12-inch 2-pound bluegill get posted. Like you don't see it very often.
How big was your bluegill that you have on the wall, Bart?
It was like 12 and an eighth, hair over 2 pounds.
Oh, wow!
Yeah. Got lucky.
Wow.
Okay. So we're all picking bluegill.
Yeah, I think
yeah, I would 100%. Yeah, I'd say bluegill.
All right. Here's one. There should be another punishment for Sobi and Stolski for whoever does their punishment last.
An additional punishment.
He runs a 5K in Argentina. That'd be so electric, dude. He signs up for a run.
I think we could just do it where if whoever has to do it second has to also do it in a Speedo. So like,
oh god, dude.
An Argentinian 5K. I'd love that.
Didn't we also give you the option? I think we gave Bill the opt-out option of if he sent us a video of him riding Monk the Mule that we could post on the Instagram.
Way worse than a 5K.
We did give him that option.
We did give you that option.
I'd give you that cop-out too as somebody else who's living in debt. I think I'd like to.
Yeah, I just don't.
A good ride though, like a bull, 8 seconds. You know the drill.
Yeah, a really good ride.
Make a regulation.
Yeah.
Or an injury.
Oh, well, the injury will come for sure. But
is Monk getting a little ornery? I thought you guys were best friends.
Yeah, of course we're best friends when I feed him apples out of my hand. But if I get on his back, I don't think he's going to love it all that much.
I don't know. Apples right on his back. I think it's the same thing.
Same.
Maybe. I'm a little
all right,
too scared.
Couple more here. Let's burn this down. Why is the bass angling community afraid of modern fishing technology?
Well, I think we've touched
I think we
on
burned
this.
that one down.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to, let's see, there's a couple of good ones up here. There's a lot of FFS stuff in here, probably because that bass thing just dropped today. Oh, so this was the same guy, the follow-up to the Vikings question. This is actually great. It was how's Bart feeling about the Viking season? Secondary comment directly after that. Also, Randy B is an asshat. So there you go.
I did post a little clip on our story tonight for the peeps, for everybody.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. It was just a reminder of and we're not going to talk about it at length, but remember the propaganda talk we had earlier this year, and Randy's hard on that train right now. Yeah. And has proven that nothing that'll ever be done will make him happy. And he's just using more words and cursing even more now, actually, which is quite exciting. But yeah, I don't think anybody really needs to pay attention to Randy.
Fair.
Because, I mean, if changes are made and there's no positive things said, then you don't, like Dave said, you don't care about the sport. So don't do that. Yeah.
All right, we'll do two more here, unrelated to FFS. This is kind of a weigh-in question, but I think we can just round the horn. What is the single greatest food item from a gas station? The people want to know.
Food item, huh?
Single greatest food item.
Oof.
All or nothing here, boys. 1-on-ones only.
Are we talking like they make it, or just like, you know what I mean? Like, is it like a...
I have all of the information here, only what I read.
I mean, the greatest food item from a gas station.
So I would assume that this is exclusive to gas station purchases
and not drink, food.
It says food.
All right, we gotta go food.
It's hard to say. I mean, I'll
lead off.
Sure.
I'll lead off here. I'm gonna say the Quick Trip sausage, egg, and cheese croissant breakfast sandwich.
Yeah, I think anything from Quick Trip wins.
I was gonna say the biscuit one, but I know you always give me the hard time of what if it's sandpaper.
Well, that's the thing. It's like you're 50-50. It's either going to be delicious or a desert sandwich. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But I'm going to go with more of my staple. I'm kind of a chip whore for anybody who knows me. I love chips. Mm-hmm. So I will go with lately big time Old Dutch. They came out with sour cream and dill. Fantastic option. Fantastic option.
In the how big of a bag are we talking?
Well, they do the fun size bag, you know.
Come on.
Yeah. Well, we don't need to answer that.
When was the last time you bought a fun size bag?
Yeah. Shut up. They don't need to know that. Gosh.
I'm gonna go potentially an unpopular opinion and just
if you say a fucking banana, I'm gonna lose it.
It says the single greatest.
No.
You're like, I'm going in with an unpopular.
Honestly,
decision.
it's a hit. It's a hit. I think it's good. I love a breakfast sandwich from the Trip, but also like if you're just trying to get a little food, and I kind of dig the egg rolls there. Like I hit the egg roll. I hit the egg roll from the Trip. Like
they slap, dude.
Like
they're good.
They got little deals of twofer, and I'm like, oh shit, I'd eat 2 egg rolls.
Do you hit them with the little sauce packet too?
I don't. I honestly just like them as is. Yeah,
as is. Yeah,
really, straight up.
Yeah, like I think they're just delicious and super nutritious.
Oh, they're good for you, which is the key. Yeah. No, for mine, I mean, if we're staying on the theme of Quick Trip, then the Bosco sticks.
Ooh.
I mean, just it's a classic. That's very good, but also too, just the chicken sandwich from Quick Trip, very good too. Mm-hmm. Very good, very good.
Because you're living in a tripless world, right? I mean,
I got no trip out here at all.
No trip.
No, I got no trip. I got zero trip. Yeah, there's a lot of things I missed about.
Do you find yourself reminiscing
Oh, all the
On the
time.
AAA?
I went back to Wisconsin for a wedding last summer, and it was just so nice. I mean, it was just amazing. Quick trips on every block, you know. What could have been. I also really like their like version of the McRib.
Oh,
know?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
Give me some of that.
My honorable mention would be, I know Pink sees me grab these all the time in the winter. Unpopular opinion, but they got like the little charcuterie board freaking snacks things you can get, basically just like a little Lunchable, and it's got like almonds, cheese, and salami. It's just a nice little snack.
Yeah.
Is this just you kind of backpedaling off your chips pick?
No, I love the chips. I'm firmly on board with the chips, but like the if not, it's pretzels, and they have their butter spindle ones, and those things slap too.
Quick Trip is the best gas station of all time.
They
They're taking over.
Quick Trip, hit us up, please. We take sponsorships. They're high dollar, but
they're high dollar for sure. But
I think we've earned it at this point.
I mean, that would be great.
A lot of PR.
Yeah.
All right, let's round it out. Last one here. This is a little twofer. This is a little, rose and thorn situation here. Best and worst part of Labor Day weekend. Where do you guys shape up on that one?
So I'll go first. So best part for me is normally I go to the state fair somewhat. So I enjoy my one fair day, eat a bunch of food and beer and just kind of walk around and do that. So I enjoy that part, a little bit of time on the lake and everything. The worst part is honestly all the social media posts where people are like, "Oh, summer's over," and I'm like, "Fuck." Yeah. Like, I know what's coming, right? Like,
yeah,
I'm looking down the barrel of 2 months from now, and it's gonna be cold, and everyone's gonna be telling me how excited they are for ice fishing, and I will be too, but I won't quite be there yet. Probably.
I'm definitely piggybacking off of you. I think best thing about Labor Day, obviously extended weekend. Incredible weather, especially this year. Like you can finally break.
This year's Labor Day weekend weather was insane.
Yeah,
yeah.
But the worst part is, it's like after it's over, you do have that kind of horrible feeling where you're like, summer is over. And for as much as, especially all us boys that love fall, like we love everything that has to do with fall, but it's just that horrible realization of you're like, oh my gosh, like,
yeah, it's over.
It's over.
Did you have like a 10 out of 10 point of the weekend though? This weekend?
Did I have a 10 out of 10 point?
Yeah.
Yes. I'd say fishing in a sweatshirt, slamming bass, Steph was catching them, and then enjoying a fire at sunrise and sunset, like when it's actually cool out. It was low wind and we've got a little fire table.
I gotta ask though, because I did get one snap from Steph. I don't know if that was yesterday or what it was, of her. I don't know where you guys went or what the deal. All right, elaborate. I'm assuming you know what I'm talking about.
Just explain. I think I know what you're talking.
So she sends me a Snapchat.
He doesn't want to rat himself out. So
I almost wanted to hear what he's going to say because I feel like it's not what I was about to say. But you guys went somewhere. I don't know where it was. That she is like covered in burrs, like 100% full coverage.
That's what we did. Like, on the tail end of Labor Day, we did some bassing and did some outside time and ripped around the Ranger and did all the fishing stuff. And then we're like, oh my gosh, dude, like we got to go kind of trim some trees for stands and put up some more trail cameras. And dude, the woods are thick. All the rain, dude, it is thick. Steph threw out a pair of like decently expensive leggings and stuff. Cause I'm talking, there's no comeback, dude. She was covered in birds. I thought you were referring to this. She took a video of me absolutely break dancing in the freaking garage today out of pure enjoyment. I was dancing.
I did see that as well, but
dude, I have been summoned to jury duty and I'm like actually in it, dude. And every day I have to call in to see if I have to go or not. And it was like,
I've been your race, dude.
I want to get out of it. I've been listening to this message. They're like, in light of Labor Day, please call back in at, on Tuesday at 11 o'clock, blah, blah, to see which jury number group you're in if you're needed. And I'm just like, no, I've been getting out of this when I lived in Texas to Chicago to going to college in Wisconsin. I have been on their list and I've been called like 3 or 4 times, always got out of it. I had no good excuse this time. So I'm in it. and I didn't have to go to jury duty today. So I was like, freaking, I put the JBL on and put some ratchet ass hood music on, and I was whipping it, dude. I was so pumped. I was like, yes, dude, yes,
Finally,
yes. No
So
jurors needed today.
you'll be in the one that goes to like the worst trial ever. It's gonna drag on for years, dude.
Dude, I'm like so worried of that.
So real in it for like 3 years. Yeah.
Have you guys ever been summoned?
Yeah, dude.
I had to get out of it.
I have not yet.
I got dismissed from mine because like I showed up and then they had like everyone there and then they like have an opportunity to like ask everyone questions and then they get to dismiss people they don't want or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And it was some I don't even remember what the case was about, but the question they were asking was how many guns do you own? and like so they would like just literally go down. Yeah. And some people were like 0, 1, whatever. But anyone that was like more like an above average amount, they were like, we don't want you here.
Yeah.
So I got boosted day 1.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been called. I've been able to get out all the times, but
that's awesome. You're on the short list.
Stolski, what was Labor Day weekend high low?
Well, summer's over.
Yeah, so that hit hard for all of us.
That's the low.
Yeah.
Fall is here, I guess, so that's the high. But I don't know. Labor Day weekend's like the worst holiday weekend, in my opinion, that there is.
I would agree.
That's because you don't get an additional day.
No, I don't get anything. Not a no. But I don't know. I mean, it's sort of like really fall is not here yet, and summer is not quite over. But for all intents and purposes, those are the two things I pick. So, we're just on our way to eternal darkness, Come December. Yeah. 7 hours of daylight. Get ready.
I don't know about you though. Like if you ever start to feel down, maybe you don't see it out where you're living, but like if I'm ever feeling a little down, I take a little drive around like 3 o'clock through town and I just see the school bus dropping kids off and know they're back at school and I just go, dude, that would be so much worse than whatever I'm feeling right now, dude.
Yeah, dude.
You are at school, you got a whole nother year, a full year, dude.
Yeah. Shout out Boots. Shout out Boots right now, but I've called Boots this last week like twice, and I've been like, "Hey, so this is what we're working on," and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm in class right now." I'm like, "What do you mean you're in class? You just answer your phone?" He's like, "No, I was looking for any excuse to get out, so I just stood up and walked out." But then I was also like, "He's still going to class right now. That sucks."
He probably rides the bus too.
Yeah, Boots rides the bus. For sure.
Yeah.
Dang.
All right, I guess mine would be let's see. Well, I'll do the low first. I really so Sunday was my day to fish. And I was like, dude, I'm holding out. I'm just gonna go afternoon ripper, kayak bassing. Like I've been waiting to hit this little spot. And dude, I went and it was dog shit. It was like terrible. So bad. Well, the water had been super high in this little lake for like weeks, dude. And the day I decided to go back, it has dropped like feet. Like it is so low and so shithole cheesed out. And it is just like not fishing good. So I ended up catching like 2 bass out there. I got like one okay one and one just absolute rat. And I stayed out there till way after dark. Oh, I was just like, God damn it. Felt like I just blew the whole operation, But my high was, and Sobi, I told you about this before it even happened. But I went to I guess what it was because like an apple orchard thing.
Yeah.
So me and Nicole went there, and we did this last year, so we knew what we were getting into. But it's like a, I don't know, probably more of like a fall thing. People go to it's like a corn maze apple orchard thing. But we found this little, it's called Ferguson's. There's one in Eau Claire by Nicole's, and there's one in Jordan that we went to here. And dude, it is like it's totally like a kid's thing, right? Like
Yeah.
there's children everywhere. There's like shit for them to do. There's going, and they have
That's what
these.
makes it even better. Is you're like there and you're not a kid.
It's
you don't
totally
have-
not like but they have these hard apple cider slushies at this place, and we last year got into it and we just mowed them down and we got pretty tuned up, and then we just like went out in this corn maze and just fucking stomped around out there forever to try to sober back up to leave. And like we're
lost.
And they have like a petting zoo and shit, so we're like petting goats and stuff. And
Dude,
we're
yeah,
like,
you sent me one Snapchat. Nicole is like, she looks semi buzzed after the awesome drinks. She's just hand feeding these goats, and they're just going ham.
and they have this big sign that's like,
I saw you guys feeding grass to pigs.
Yeah, they had a bit, and they have this huge sign that's like, don't feed the animals, like makes them sick or whatever. And like, and we're like, dude, no, they like grass, dude, like for
They're
sure.
gonna love this.
And so we were feeding all these animals, dude, the whole time. And like, but dude, these drinks are insane. Like they hit, first of all, they're like hard apple cider slushies. So you can imagine how easy they go down.
Yeah.
Then the top of it, so it's like a decent size thing. And then the top of it is just like whipped cream. And then they like drizzle caramel all over the top of it. And then they put an apple cider donut on the top of it, and they just stab a straw through it, and they're like, "Here you go." So you can imagine.
Right.
You can imagine how many of those.
Was the drink really comparable to the other place? Because obviously this is like
Identical, dude. Identical. I will say, I think we got way more fucked up last time though, because we ate zero food before we went there.
Sure.
So I think we fared a little better this time, but we did get buzzed up, go out in the corn maze, do that whole thing, and also a little hack. All these people are getting it was really hot out, and everyone in the corn maze was super mad because it was kind of hard corn maze, right? So everyone's like pissed that they can't get out of there. People are sweating. There's a lot of family relationships. Very tense. Very
sure it was tense. Yeah.
A lot of crying. There's yelling. All these things. Turns out, if you decide you're just over this corn maze, you could just walk through the corn, walk right out.
Sure, just to hit.
Very easy.
Yeah.
So that's what we did.
we just walked out.
Yeah, we were like, we're super lost.
I got that Snapchat too.
Yeah, we busted out the back end there, made a little escape to the apple orchard portion.
You just snapped me, we're hella lost, and he just walked out.
Yeah, I don't know why people get so worked up. I was just walk through the corn, like
we just walk out.
Not a big deal, really.
Sure. I mean, you just walk until you hit the end of it, and then you find it.
Well, like you can see where it ends.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like right over there.
Yeah.
It's not like you're miles away.
Yeah.
I love it.
So anyway, that was what I did.
All right. We done with PTB questions. I got one question for Sob.
Yeah.
For the diehard listeners who've been listening the whole time, what's the development on the tournament you have found to fish?
I cannot tell you. If I cannot. No, I give nothing away.
Is there a tournament on the roster?
Absolutely.
You got one lined up.
That's all I'm saying.
That's fine. As long as there's a tournament on the roster. Because you realize if you hit October 30th and this has not been completed, the shame levels will reach.
Don't worry about it, Sam. Don't let it get to you.
Well, we've already gotten Ronnie and Mercer and Bass Live. We can probably escalate.
We're gonna go fund me, get you into an open, and you're gonna have to do it.
You might just start an online petition.
I win. Don't get to go compete in the classic because I just fished one. Won it with the Snoopy pole.
Might just take like a bunch of advertiser money and just buy a huge ad on social media that shows up for like a few months. Just like Sobi we'll figure out something. It'll be catchy, but it'll be definitely defamation.
It'll be catchy.
It'll be catchy.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
But there's one on the roster, so people got to keep their eyes out.
And don't necessarily just think bass. That's all I'm saying.
Hey.
We just want to see a tournament with a Snoopy rod. There wasn't stipulations of that.
Local dumbass dominates youth fishing tournament.
Honestly,
that's a hell of a
If he shows up to a
Takes
bluegill
kids' prize
tournament or
pack,
something,
keeps
it
it for
might even
himself.
be better.
Yeah.
It'll be funnier because then everyone will just roast him of like, oh, you backed out of all the bass tournaments. Like it'll be even better, actually.
Yeah. Mooch
This is a
minnow.
win-win for us if we get him to actually do it.
Attends
Mooch min-
kids fishing clinic and competes in flipping contests or something.
Mooch minnow. Suck a dick, bitch.
All right, that was beautiful. We can end the podcast on that.
So
All right.
Yeah, the
well,
bits
thank
thing
you.
was good.
Thank you, Wild Bill, for coming on. Thank you.
no, it's
Thank
good to
you.
be back, boys. Thanks for having me.
The return of Wild Bill.
For sure. Yeah. we ran a little longer than I thought, but
That's just the
Yeah,
kind of
you'll
love
have
we like
that.
to give here
Oh,
to the folks
that's
that
what
leave
it
this
is.
on for way too long.
You'll have that.
Exactly. So
All right, let's get the hell out of here.
All right.
All right, peace.